Peace and blessings. I'm just coming on real quick to check in with everybody. It's been a couple of days since I've been on a live, since I've checked in with my community, other than messages that I've gotten as far as with emails and things like that. So I just want to check in with you guys, see how everybody's doing. I mentioned on my last live that I was just really feeling the need to go inward and kind of separate from not the community as far as you guys, but separate from people in general and just go inward. So I took a couple of days to do that, and I'm back. And tomorrow is our Tuesday Rise and Grind, as you guys probably are well aware of by now. So I'm looking forward to that, to see those who are my normal and usual community checking in. And then, of course, any sisters who drop in that are new. It seems like every live that we're having now, I'm constantly meeting new community members. So I'm looking forward to that. But today, I just wanted to check in, ask everybody how they're doing, see what's going on in your city and your town. If you're in the U.S., things are getting crazy because they have all these different mandates and things going on with this mask and precautions being taken with COVID-19. And if you aren't in the U.S., then what's going on with you wherever you are, to see what's going on with the energy there. So I'm going to get into, in a few seconds, I'm going to get into a practice that I do quite often to kind of just see what guidance I'm getting from spirit when I feel like I need to disconnect. And I was just led to share this with you guys, and maybe it could be something that you end up using later on. Even if it's not right now, but it's something that helps me a lot that I do to check in with spirit when I'm just, going through whatever I'm going through. So I'm going to share that, and then maybe some people will drop in, and if not, then you guys will be seeing this whenever you log on to view it. You'll be seeing this video and everything that I'm going to be saying here. In this cup, I have some tension tamer tea with a little bit of chamomile and some agave. I'm just like needing this moment to indulge in some tension tamer. And it's so funny, I think that a lot of times we may not feel stressed, or we might not feel everything that our body is taking in, internally. But subconsciously, I think the idea of thinking about, I know for me specifically, the idea of thinking about how I can advance my business, how I can better serve my community, how I can figure out ways to constantly keep bringing you guys more content and to share everything that I have learned throughout my life, to bring that to you. It means that your mind is constantly rolling and it's constantly going. And when that's the case, it's like always going back to the drawing board to figure out how you can deliver content to the community, and rolling your thoughts over and over and over and over again. In some ways, the body may process that as worry. So even if you don't see yourself sitting there like biting your nails, off, or laid out because you're just so stressed and overwhelmed, or darn, you're getting ready to check yourself in, that doesn't mean that subconsciously the body is not responding to the thought process that sometimes we're going through as stress. And that's something that I've been thinking about a lot, and the idea of it, specifically when we start to talk about womb healing, and we start to talk about, releasing whatever worries and stresses and things like that we're going through as women. And I'm just constantly thinking about ways that I can manage my stress load and family load and everything that you're trying to juggle at once, along with everything else that's also happening. So I don't know. It's just so much on my mind lately. Ooh, child. It's hot. I mean, I guess that's what sweet tea is supposed to be, right? So, first of all, I've been doing a lot of meditation and hand rubbing with this rose quartz crystal that I picked up from an indigenous Mexican community event that they had at the end of June. I picked it up and it has awesome energy. And so all day I've just kind of been taking it and rubbing it in my palms and just concentrating heavily on the love I'm sending myself, and the love that I want to have beaming off of me all the time and hitting each and every one of the people that's in my community and that's in the collective, and just contemplating on what the idea of love itself, and what that even means. I think I know that I have a lot of community that I deal with in overseas, like in Senegal and Mali and things like that. And it's really interesting when you start to think about the concept of love and the concept of heartfelt emotion, and how that is portrayed from culture to culture. And I know in the Wolof language, they don't have a word that necessarily equals or translates exactly to love. They have a word that means extreme light. They have a word that means I really, really want something. But the word love in the westernized philosophy and thought pattern does not exist in Wolof. And that was a really interesting concept to me, because it's kind of like, well, if the word love doesn't exist, and if that vibration of that word doesn't exist, then what does it really mean? What does it really mean where you're taking the idea of love, you're taking the idea of rose quartz, and everything that rose quartz stands for, is whether it's self-love or love that you're projecting to others, and you're trying to connect with someone. And so I've been just really contemplating and rolling around all these different thoughts in my mind and seeking for answers from spirit, and really just trying to connect in and see what answers I get. I haven't really received the answer yet, in relation to love and the vibration of love and how it differentiates from culture to culture. And that's really, really interesting to me. I know over here in Western society, we have a lot of thoughts about what love means and how our mate should treat us, and specifically woman to man, what he's supposed to do to win our hearts and all these kind of things. But then when you go into other cultures, those concepts don't even exist. The concept of love is something that is, I don't want to say put to the back burner, but they're very much concerned about making the community and the world continue. So when we look at the concept of love and we look at tapping in to the love that's in us and then looking for it to be returned to us from others, we have to check in and kind of consider, what is their experience with love? Have they even experienced love at the caliber of what we want to receive from our mate, family member, or whoever else? And so I know these are all like really, I'm getting kind of deep and all this kind of stuff. But I mean, when I'm feeling like going in, this is where my head goes. We just came out of this really powerful energy of the new moon in Leo. And that energy was really intense for me. And I think that was part of the reason why I really had to take the moment to sit down and to go inward with spirit and to really connect and try to figure out, okay, what the heck am I being told to do? Where am I being told to go? What direction am I going with my business? And listening to the pointers that I've been getting from the self-reflection, the time of self-reflection. So anyway, I have a book, Sister to Sister. Now this book is has been on my bookshelf forever. For those of you who know, I took care of my grandmother. She had dementia, and she was a very spiritual woman. And if you don't know, I am a revert from Christianity, and this is a Christian devotion book. But when I was contemplating on what I wanted to do and what I wanted to bring you guys, what I wanted to talk about when I came on live, I was given the thought pattern that I need to share with you guys what I do when I'm searching for an answer from spirit, or I'm searching for a sign from spirit, but I feel like I'm not getting one. And there was one thing in particular that came to me. So, like I said, I am a Muslim woman. And of course, I read the Quran and things like that. And so a lot of times, let's just say, for example, that this was the Quran. If I'm having something that I'm praying to Most High about, and I'm trying to figure out, something specifically that I need help with, I'll take my Quran or whatever, Islamic devotional book I'm using at the time, and I'll hold it in my palms, and I will, make a conversation with Most High. And so I'll ask Most High, to give me divine guidance and understanding, and to show me the passage that is getting ready to, I want to say, change my life, or change my perspective, or change my view, and give me clarity for what I've been praying about and asking for guidance on. And so I'll hold the book in my hand, or Quran in my hand, whatever it is that I'm reading. I'll hold it, I'll say that prayer, and then I'll take with my right thumb and I'll flip through the pages, okay, until I get to the end and it's closed. Take with my left thumb, flip through the pages until it's closed, and take with my right thumb, flip through the pages until it's closed, and then I will say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. That means in the name of Allah, most gracious and most merciful, or whatever you might want to say. You might want to say, okay, Lord, guide me, whatever it is, and then I will open the book to a random place and see what page it comes open to. And when I did that earlier, when I was contemplating what I wanted to say to you guys, and what I wanted to talk about, I was giving a passage, and of course I didn't take and put a marker there, so give me a minute. And like I said, these are Christian devotions, but I feel like they still work for whatever walk of life you're in, because it isn't like it's sitting here quoting Bible scriptures, like the whole entire passage. This is like a life story from sister to sister for African American women. It's called Sister to Sister, Volume 2 Devotions for and from African American women. And it's edited by Linda H. Hollis, just to give you guys another look at it. And when I did that, I came open to this book. I'm into this chapter that said, I lost my baby, but not my mind. And I was like, whoa. This month in August, we've been talking about Oshun and the energy of Oshun, and she deals with fertility. And I know that a lot of women in my community are trying to conceive children. And so when I open up the book to this, I'm like, this is interesting, so maybe I'll read it. And so I haven't even read through this whole thing yet myself. And, if I get to any place in this where it's referencing God or Holy Spirit or any of those kind of things that I know that Christianity talks about, taking in the concept of whatever faith and religion you practice, whatever you consider to be your higher power, whether it's universe, whether it's Most High, whether it's God, whether it's Allah, whoever and whatever it is. Take it as that being a communication, and not necessarily getting hung up on the words, because I think that a lot of times we do get hung up on words, and it prevents us from getting whatever stories and messages we're supposed to get. So I'm going to read this because I was led to. And then after I read this, just going to see what resonates in my spirit out of here. So the passage says, hiss, click, hiss, click, hiss, silence. The machine was turned off. The sound of his life-sustaining work ended. Later, as I stood in the hall, My strength drained from my body, and I began to slide slowly down into an abyss of swirling, smothering gloom. My baby girl was dead. My firstborn baby daughter was dead at 9 years young. She was killed in a fire that took both our first home and our dreams. Almost 30 years I have passed. Almost 30 years have passed since I buried my daughter. The days and months of madness that followed are now blurred in my mind. However, what stands out with three-dimensional clarity is the Holy Spirit, clothed in full humanity, coming to me. They came, Holy Spirit filled servants of the Lord, obedient to God's direction, ministering to me. In my sanctified imagination, this is how I chronicle my journey from that burdened out physical place to an inner space filled with the peace of the Holy Spirit. I hear God speaking to the Holy Spirit saying, "Go to my child, Jacqueline. Tell her I love her and I am with her, even now." And one day a friend said to me, "Honey, you know there is a God who loves you. After all you have been through, you're still in your right mind. Hold on, girl. The Lord is with you." I heard her message and I held on. Later, God said to the Holy Spirit, "Teach her to trust in me, to test me, and to deepen her faith." And one evening, a vacation Bible school teacher sat with me many hours after class. He said to me, "Take little tiny steps of faith. Just try a little test. God is able and equal to the task." I accepted this challenge and my face deepened. Tell her I loved her and all humanity so much that I sent my son to die for their sins. Guide her to an understanding of my love of salvation and eternal life. And God said to the Holy Spirit, wait a minute. And eternal life said God to the Holy Spirit, "I was led to enter a theological seminary's certificate program. My focus was on the salvific gift of Jesus Christ." I don't know what that means. I'm guessing it's dealing with salvation, with Christianity. Um, my goal was to study theology in order to become a more knowledgeable layperson. And then God said to the Holy Spirit, "Tell her I have called her to ordained ministry. Direct her, fill her in order that she might lift me so that I can draw others through her." On a speaking tour, I took a side trip to visit a church whose pastor had impressed me with her messages and humble spirit. During our conversation over lunch, she said, "Have you considered chaplaincy as your ministry?" Surprised, I stopped chewing briefly. What a strange question, I thought. Hadn't I just explained that I didn't feel called to pastoral ministry of a local church? And now here she is, ignoring my statements and suggesting a chaplaincy ministry, which, by the way, I knew nothing about. Years later, after graduating with a master's degree from Theological Seminary and completing a CPE, which is Clinical Pastoral Education residency, I accepted a position as a hospice chaplain. "Hello, you must be the chaplain," said the woman who has opened the door. I stepped across the threshold, preparing to minister to this family. "Yes, I am the hospice chaplain." Ooh. "I love my work. I minister faithfully. Through the power of the Holy Spirit and the loving nurture of many saints of God, I made it through the madness of grief. I did lose my baby, but thank God I did not lose my mind." Hmm. That's really deep because this is my grandmother's book, okay, that I found on her shelf of books. And my grandmother was on hospice right before she died. And she transitioned out of here with still a very strong spirit despite her cognitive abilities leaving because she had dementia. And to think that sometimes we don't necessarily want to accept or even we don't want to accept the challenge that we're given from spirit. We don't want to necessarily view the challenge we're given as a way for us to advance our lives in a sense. But so often That's exactly what we're being called to do anyway. So it's kind of like ignoring the effect of what you want to do and what you feel like doing and pressing on. And with this energy of the new moon passing and me feeling very, what's the word? Disconnected, I guess, in some ways, from what I know my path and my purpose is. With community, I've been doing a lot of reflection, like I shared with you guys, and um, I'm thinking about, those times where I'm just like, Lord, I do not feel like getting out of my bed, going anywhere, doing anything other than peace and blessings, other than what I've already been doing. And being mindful that it really isn't about what I want to do, that sometimes I got to buckle down and not give a damn and push through. And I'm really grateful for a sister that's on my team, because she can help to motivate me and help to push me back into the place where I need to be and help to ground me in this space, when I'm feeling off balance and feeling like I'm just like, all right, I'm totally disconnected from everything I'm supposed to be doing. And I was telling her, I'm trying to figure out what is even the purpose of, or what's the cause, I should say, of me feeling disconnected, of me feeling like I'm not connected to what I know my calling and my purpose is. And I think it's a recalibration. I think it's a recalibration and a visiting of what your path is. And I think that without moments of reflection and without moments of being able to go inward and really think about everything that we're working on and everything we're striving towards doing and all those kind of things, we kind of can just really lose sight of what we're working towards. Specifically when we working really hard on manifestation. So I don't know, I'm being led to shuffle my cards, so that's what I'm gonna do. Peace, whoever's in here. I'm just checking in with the community. I haven't been on in a minute. As I told you guys last Tuesday, I was just gonna go inward and just kind of take the moment to just hear from spirit and get some guidance and kind of reboot and reconnect. So if you want to drop any comments, you can, but this is just a moment to check in and see what's going on with you guys and how y'all are feeling. And I got 2 other books that my spirit wanted me to pick up, so I did. But after I pull 3 energy cards, these are kind of like energy cards. After I pull 3 and just see where the energy is with this, I'm gonna read those 2. And it's funny because both of the books have to do with Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic teachings. So that's going to be interesting. But yeah. Okay. When I first opened up the passage, I thought that she was going to say she had miscarriage. I thought she was going to speak about a miscarriage that she had, but she actually spoke about a child that she had helped to get to 9 years old and then lost. And that was like, whoa. It's one thing for the baby to never come into physical manifestation on this realm and for you to lose it. And it's a whole nother thing when you have a child that you're helping to raise and you're helping to, develop into an adult ultimately, and then you lose it. I can only imagine that's a whole different kind of energy and grief process. And the first energy card that came out was Finder of Lost Things. And I was just like, wow. And then the second card that came out was Raven. which is really interesting. Raven energy. And then the third card that came out was loss. Finder of lost things. I'm just meditating on this card and like everything that I've been feeling. Kind of like I was telling the sister that works with me today, I was telling her, like, I feel like a portion of me has like lost what my original focus was. Not my original focus in the business, but like, because there is a recalibration that's happening and that's taking place inside the business, and that I feel like I'm like kind of like things are being swept out to be brought in something new. And I know that that process is really important for growth. It's like you lose yourself in that though. You lose some of your stuff in the hurricane. It's like a hurricane that comes through and sweeps through your house. It tears down your shit, man. It tears up your foundation. It throws all your stuff around, and you'll be sitting there like, okay, so now after this hurricane is passed, now what? And I mean, and even that metaphor and, you know, that, well, I should say analogy, is just like, man, I even have gone through hurricanes, like literal ones, of being caught up in Hurricane Katrina, of being at a place where I've lost multiple times everything. And peace, there's been times where I've lost everything, where I didn't have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of, like they be saying. And it's just like, to think finder of lost things, it's like you're on this path of reclaiming what was taken away from you, but at a higher place and at a different position. Because when we lose something and something is given to us, we're never given something at that same level. We're giving something from spirit at a higher and more profound level. So when you say finder of lost things, it feels like the energy shifts and moves upward and forward, you know, in some kind of weird way. I don't know, but the raven energy, very much like the crow, raven, whatever you want to call it, reminds me very much of like, I mean, of course, in some folklore, they would consider it death, you know, but the energy of the bird is so free, and being able to soar over circumstances and situations and look down on what's under them and get a better idea and clarity about what's going on in their lives. And I'm just like, finder of lost things, the raven energy of being able to soar up high so I can look down low. And even the energy, I mean, let's to keep it real, crows come when something is dead, just like vultures. So a portion of you, peace and blessings, a portion of you that you're dropping or losing, or that's becoming dead or stale or stagnated, so that something new can grow. And then the third card being loss. And obviously, you know, like I said, my first thought pattern when I was reading that passage was miscarriage. But like seeing this petal that's so beautifully, like this flower that's so beautiful, and then this petal that's so beautifully falling to the ground. And when I look at that flower, like that one petal was more vibrant and bright and pink and prettier than the ones that are still attached to the daggone flower. And it's like sometimes we feel this energy like we're afraid that losing something or things changing and shifting could mean that we're going to lose something and never reconnect. But I feel like in Sufism and Islam, there's this concept of die before you die. And it's like, die before you die. The hell do I want to die? You guys ever had that experience where you're laying in a bed and it's nighttime and you're sleeping, and all of a sudden, like, you might come from dream state and you can't move and you're stuck there stiff, and the only thing you can do is move your eyes and look around, and you're just like, oh, and you be trying to move your arm but you can't move it, or move your toe. You be like, move toe, but your toe don't move. And they used to say the witch is on your back. But in Islam and Sufism, the more you study, you learn that that feeling is the energy of die before you die. Being okay with losing what you're used to, and what you're living in, the energy that you're living in, so that you can move forward onto something that's bigger and better and greater. And it's just reminding me to not have an attachment to my ideas of what success or energy that I'm working on with the business or whatever, not being attached to that, being more attached to the path and the purpose that the Most High has me on. Like we create all these ideas of what that looks like, what it looks like to be successful, and what it looks like to be moving beyond where we are, and feeling like if we aren't moving at that pace that we aren't being productive. And I know that I'm like probably my worst critic, my worst my worst critic. I feel the need to always amp up something, even if it's nothing wrong. It's like, okay, I got to switch that up and create something bigger and better than that, and it's like, what the hell? Like, I don't, it's so funny because I think that sometimes in my experiences with life is that sometimes people feel intimidated by my drive and by my want and need to succeed. And when I'm like, when I'm focused on something, I'm not looking at anybody else. The only person I see in all of what I'm doing is me, and not in the ego stance, but in the stance that I'm competing with my biggest and best self to constantly try to outdo what I did before. Not like, oh, I got to be better than her because she can't have one up on me or whatever. And I think that's why it's so easy for me to come to my community and be like, yo, I'm willing to give whatever and however I can to be able to help other people advance. But in doing that, you also get back to my original point. You also get attached to these concepts of like, I got to have a specific thing happen at a specific time in order for me to be considered productive. And I think over these past couple of days, that's been the thing that's been really on my mind the most. Marsha, how are you, darling? How are you? How you been these past couple of days? How's the new moon energy been treating you? If you want to share, feel free. Um, Two books I was given. I was explaining to you guys how when I'm needing guidance from spirit, I take my book and I start with my right hand. Like if I'm looking for an answer from something and I don't really feel like I have a clear, defined answer, I'll go to my bookshelf. And a lot of times it's my Quran because I mean, that's what I'm studying with. And I'll go to the page or the front of the book and I'll flip through with my right hand to the end. I'll flip through with my left hand to the end, and I'll flip through with my right hand to the end, and I'll hold it in my hand, and I'll ask for guidance, and then bam, and I'll open it up to whatever place it does. And this particular book is called Bach Flower Essences in Chinese Medicine, which if you guys don't know, I am naturopathic doctor. But this is one of the books that I had when I was healing. I mean, when I was learning, different modalities of healing. And I'm sorry, I'm just reading through here to see, because the page that we opened up, I opened up to a chapter called The 12 Healers, which is really interesting. But it's talking about 12 healing herbs. And Bach flower essences is like taking, Friday went to a funeral yesterday, a kid's B-Day party. Girl, I'm sorry for your loss, sis. Sorry, I'm trying to fix What the heck is going on? I'm sorry for your loss, sis. My goodness. I'm tired as well. I woke up today and I was just like, it's like a million and one things I'm supposed to be doing for my business. I literally came down here and I was telling my assistant I stared at my computer screen for 45 minutes before I did anything. And I was just like, I'm not feeling connected to anything that's happening on this computer screen right now. I don't feel like being on no computer. And so I kind of came to the conclusion also, like when I'm feeling at those moments, those are times when I need to I know that's right. Take a nap at work, sis. Those are times where I disconnect. I unplug the computer and I want to write. I want to write and let spirit just, guide me on what to write about. So the 12 healers, organs, emotions, and psyche. I went to the beginning of this because I just want to get a precursor to what this chapter is. So black flowers from a Chinese medical perspective is what this chapter is dealing with. And so the intro to that says the following texts about the black flower remedies were written within the framework of the seminar Las Flores de Bach. Bach flower remedies, 4 integrative viewpoints. In this series of smaller seminars, we cover the 12 healers, the 7 healers, the 10 trees, and the last 9 flowers. These series have been offered without interruption from 2006 to date, organized by Dr. Ricardo Orozco Institute, Anthem in Barcelona. The seminar is given by the professors. We take a look at the flowers from the viewpoints of contemporary psychology and emotional intelligence, the transpersonal patterns, the signature of the flowers, astrology, and Chinese medicine. The reader will find throughout these texts references to these dear friends to whom I am profoundly grateful for the work shared. I have taken for granted that the reader already has an understanding of the Bach remedies, but if this is not the case, there are numerous books available to help acquire basic or in-depth knowledge. Now, Bach flower remedies are basically taking flowers and the energy from flowers, steeping them, and sometimes people use water and other solutions depending on what you're trying to derive from it, and each flower having an essence or a life vibration that you're taking and using to heal or help with the body. And in medicine period and in herb study period, I'm always really amazed whenever I start to realize the different characteristics that each herb has, and how to use those. But I don't know, I'm just going to read the passage that I turned to, and see what happens. So I don't want to, it says water violet. I'm not going to read from the passage at the top because it's ending something else, but I'm going to start here. So water violet, organs, emotions, and psyche. The lung, through its psyche, extends the veil that makes us feel like individual beings. It is the force that impels the desire to live for oneself, separate from others. We need this illusion in order to experience life as humans. Water violet persons present the paradox of having this force be so powerful and creating such a sense of separation that in the end it becomes self-sufficiency, ultimately invalidating the possibility for living a wide range of human experiences. It would seem that water violet takes the role of being an individual too seriously, entering fully into the isolation that is referred to in the transpersonal pattern. Water violet people feel the need to live in an environment that is as well defined as their individuality. And this is how they come up against various obstacles. They isolate themselves and encounter a certain balance there, an internal peace and harmony that makes them feel quite well. They settle fully into solitude. Any person, situation, or emotion that trespasses this domain makes them feel uncomfortable bothering them. But harmony lived in isolation is only half of harmony. The other half is missing, the more complicated kind, the kind that can live within the world and with various types of people. I am tempted to say that a balance that needs isolation as a defense is a balance constructed of props. We see it in the plant's signature. If it leaves the aesthetic environment that it knows, it its great fragility becomes obvious. Although water violet persons can vary out a life in perfect solitude, enjoying the gifts they've been given, a problem difficult to resolve still remains. We come into this world to manifest certain potentials, and developing them requires contact with others. The person might be the most capable and self sufficient person in the world, but it is within the community and interaction with others that these capacities take on meaning. It's so deep because earlier, before I got on this meeting with my assistant, I was looking at this interview, and I'm going to continue to read because it's like some other stuff there, and I'm interested in what they're getting ready to say about water violet. But I was reading this. I was listening to an interview between Cardi B and Lizzo for her new song Rumors, and then I watched another. I love Lizzo just for what she stands for with body positivity with women, regardless of what you look like, but specifically for plus size women. So I really rocks with her music. So anyway, she made this video recently with Cardi B called Rumors, and it was basically addressing all these different rumors that was being said about her and Cardi and all kind of stuff. But in the second interview that I was watching about her Rumors video, she was telling a guy like, I'm an introvert. I'm an extroverted introvert. And I was like, what? She was like, she's a Taurus. She was like, I was always the person who was okay with being by myself. But there was a place where I had to step out of my need and want to be by myself and be okay with being around others. And I was like, that makes so much damn sense. Like when it comes time to it, and I think that this really developed when I went through that whole struggle with Rakai's father in the custody battle that we went through and all of that. It was like I developed for the first time the ability to be by myself, but that wasn't an easy place to get to. It took me having my child stripped away from me for a period of time and having to figure out what the hell do I look like as a woman by myself? Like all of my time and energy since I have been a woman at the age of 20 has been centered around taking care of my child, making sure she was good, making sure others were good. And even when I was younger, I've always been a person that was very involved in community and outreach and things like that. But for the first time, I became okay with being an introvert. I'm a Gemini. I'm naturally a chatty Cathy, and I can get pretty much in any group of people and be okay with running my mouth a million miles an hour and like vibing with people and connecting with them. But then my moon and my rising are both Tauruses, and Tauruses are very much okay with being by ourselves. And so I always find this very needed space of being able to go into hibernation and separate from everybody and everything and being like, and I was laughing with my sister earlier because I was just like, yo, she's like, well, are you feeling like you need to go into hibernation? I'm like, not really. I mean, not to the point where I want to cut off, because my hibernations look like, girl, pack your bags, you going to Senegal for 3 months. And deuces, see y'all when I get back. And I literally will tell my family 2 days before I get on the plane. But and go there and get whatever spiritual stuff I need to get and get fed and rebooted and then come back. And then, but right now I don't feel that. And I don't feel that because I'm enjoying so much connecting with my community. I'm enjoying so much being able to get on lives, regardless of how many people was on there, and talk and connect with you guys and get the comments that comes afterwards, because I know not everybody gets a chance to tune in live, but they see it later on and then they message me, and the interaction, and then doing what you love makes you not want to go hide. But I've also experienced like this energy of it's important for me to go in hibernation because ultimately it's an aspect of myself that allows me to be rebirthed, and bring more content and more, whatever you want to call it, I guess. What is the word I'm looking for? More divine communication, more revelation, I guess you want to call it, for lack of a better way to put it, but more revelation coming from Most High. And it's like, oh, okay, I can totally see why this happened, that happened, and that happened, and all those things connect. So when I'm listening to this Bach flower of water violet, and I'm looking at how it relates to my life, and I'm telling y'all, like, if y'all flip through the pages and then you say whatever you say, like Most High guide me, or universe show me exactly what you want me to know, and you open it up to a random page, whatever your hand lands at, I'm guaranteeing you it's going to be a message on that page for you. But the main point of what I just read was like, yo, it's okay to be secluded, it's okay to be an introvert, but community is needed, and balance is really the biggest thing when trying to keep balance. Balance is needed when trying to keep balance. We work really hard. I know for me personally, in the past, I worked really hard towards something, work, and then bam, all of a sudden it just stops, and it's like, oh shit, I need to go in hibernation. Peace and blessings, whoever's coming in. I need to go into hibernation. I need to like disconnect from everybody and everything and see if I get a moment to like get some ideas. Ooh, you know what I mean? And go away for 3 months. But like I said, I don't feel the need to go into the mountains and hibernate, or go to Senegal on a plane and go away from y'all for 3 months. Like, I'm enjoying connecting with my community so much. I don't want to leave y'all. But at the same time, the inner part of me, that's that introvert, that part that needs to be secluded and hibernate and not be around people, and the part of me that became really comfortable with it when I lost my daughter, is saying, girl, sometimes you gotta untap. Sometimes you gotta like pull your plug out and literally from your computer, let that bad boy die for a minute and deal with divine connection. Now, during that time when I was going through that custody battle with my daughter's father, I joined this company called Crossmark, and I started to travel literally all across the United States. They would house us in Boston, West Virginia, down South Texas, bring us back up to Carolina, send us back up north to Jersey, New York. I mean, we went all over the place, and we went around and we were rehabbing and totally remodeling Walgreens. We were turning Rite Aids into Walgreens. And during that time, I became okay with, it was like the precursor of what I needed to come next. So I became okay with not having my daughter with me every single moment, and being okay with learning who I was for the first time as a woman. Like I was saying before, at 20, when you have a baby, and you're still a baby, it's in a lot of ways yourself, and you're still trying to find yourself, to have a child at 20, and for all of my everything that I understood about womanhood being centered around being a mom, and at that time being a wife, and all of my duties that went into that, when that was stripped away from me, it was like I was being made to figure out who I was for the first time. And so after traveling with that job, and then we got laid off during the holiday season, I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going back down to New Orleans. I'm packing up all my shit. Story time. I'm packing up all my shit. And I'm going to start my business in New Orleans. So y'all know that I'm a certified doula. So I help women birth their babies. And Louisiana and Mississippi have the two highest fetal mortality rates in the country. More African-American women die in New Orleans, well, Louisiana in general, and Mississippi than any other U.S. state. In some third world countries, they die more in those two states than other third world countries, or what they consider third world countries. So anyway, but going through that, it's like, I'm just going to pack up and I'm going to go. I don't have nothing holding me back here. My daughter isn't here. I was dealing with my grandmother and taking care of her. I was telling you guys I was taking care of her as her caregiver, but it was like, yo, this is what I need. This is a moment I need to go within. So when I got on the road and I went down there, I literally by myself. I packed up my whole car, took everything I had from my business, everything I had that I was going to need immediately to live and survive, and parked my behind in a daggone hotel that was in the middle of Hammond, Louisiana, like on the outskirts. It was like 45 minutes away from New Orleans and 45 minutes away from Baton Rouge. And I straight up chilled there for a month and some change. And during that time, it was the most profound time I've ever experienced in my life. It was a time where I was literally able to communicate with spirit so much. It was like I wasn't even able to sleep. It was like all day, every day, I was getting like download after download after download after download. And I have a whole freaking, darn, it's not right here with me. I have a whole freaking book thicker than this, more like the thickness of this, of notes from that journey. And I came back when I got laying in my bed one day, took a nap, and I during my nap, I was laying there and I was like, my cat wants to chime in, I don't know. But I was laying there in the bed and I was taking a nap, and then in my dream, there was I was in the universe, right? I was out in outer space. When I say the universe, I was out in outer space, and I was looking at the stars and I was taking them all in, and I'm like, wow, that's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Like, just taking in the galaxy and the way that the stars was. Sis, I'm going to squirt you. Yeah, don't do it on live lack of television. So anyway, so I'm like, yo, I really need okay, Marcia, so I'm going to get to that in 2 seconds. And I'm going to push show and not hide. So that other people can see if they come and read it later, so they'll know what the heck I'm responding to. But so I literally had this dream. Girl, bye. I literally had this dream where I was out in the universe and I was seeing these stars and I was taking in the galaxy and everything that was out there. And then these two spirits came to me and was like, yo, we want to teach you about the science. Go. Sorry, y'all. But my cat is just like very persistent today. So there's like, we want to teach you about the signs of Cancer and Gemini. And I was like, okay. And so I'm sitting in outer space and Indian style, and I'm taking it in, and they're like drawing things, like connecting stars, and they're showing me these different things about Cancer and Gemini, the zodiac signs. And I was like, oh wow, you know what I mean? And I was like taking it all in, and then I see this like shooting star, orange shooting star, and it was like shh. And I was like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. And then I woke up to my phone ringing, and the phone ringing was my mom. My mom was calling me to say, Frankie, your father, he passed out at the train station. I just called them. I called his phone to see if they wanted me to pick him, if he wanted me to meet him, because she used to pick him up. He like worked like 25 minutes away from the train station. I mean, from the house. So she would go and pick him up sometimes, so he didn't have to take the train home. And she was like, I called to see if he wanted me to meet him, and I get to the phone, and the police officer answered, and I'm like, hello, where's my husband? And the cop is like, oh, miss, he was taken to the hospital. He passed out at the train station, so we have his phone. We kept his phone in case somebody called. And instantly my heart dropped. But I mean, there wasn't like, oh my God. It wasn't like that, because it was like, oh, okay, daddy passed out, so everything gonna be fine. He gonna be cool. Everything gonna be good. And so I went to my room, because at this time, I went to the bathroom. I remember washing my face, like, is this a bad dream? Like, am I still dreaming? Like, is this still part of the galaxy, or what the hell is going on? And so I go to back to my bed, and I sit on the bed, and I'm on the phone with my mom, and she's like rushing, and I can hear her voice, and she's worked up, and she's scared to death, and she doesn't know what to do. And honestly, I've always been that stronghold in my family. I've always been that one that everybody and their mama could rely on. So for me to not be there physically, to be all the way down in Louisiana, which if you've ever driven to Louisiana, then you'll know it's a 24-hour ride from Philly. To be all the way down there and to represent her not having the physical support that she was used to, I could hear in her voice that she was flustered. So I stayed on the phone with her. And to make a very long story short, my mom gets to the hospital and the people meet her at the front door and they tell her that my father transitioned. And basically, my brother rushes to the hospital and what they told her was that we've been working on him for the past half an hour. We were able to he didn't come back. Basically, they worked on him for a half an hour and he didn't come back. And during that time of them telling my mom this, of course, like she went through her grief and everything that came over her. But I was sitting there the whole time and I was like, it dawned on me like, yo, the two signs that I was just being taught about and about their connection was me and my dad. My dad was a Cancer and I was a Gemini. And it was like coming out of that dream state, I watched his spirit when it left his body fly past me in the dream, and for me to look at this like yellow globe of light go past me, and I'm like, wow, oh my God. Like I was taking it in how beautiful this what seemed like a very huge shooting star was while they were teaching me about the signs of Gemini and Cancer. And then I wake up and I get that phone call from my mom. And I was like, and really his spirit had left, but they were still working on his physical body. And my mom was like, just stop working on him. Just let him go. And of course, now everything inside of me is screaming, oh my God, I'm all the way down in Louisiana. My father just died, who was like, when I say my rock, I mean my rock, y'all, my rock. My father and my grandmother, ironically, were my rocks. I'm very close to my mom, but I'm a daddy's girl without a shadow of a doubt. And it's like, yo, he transitioned. Like, oh no, what the hell? Like, I just knew I was going to be pushing him around in a wheelchair for however many more years. You know what I mean? Like, I just knew he was going to grow to be like 90 years old. I never saw him transition. Peace and blessings to whoever's coming in. I never saw him transition and being even a figment of my imagination, let alone that I was going to be all the way down in Louisiana and have to try to figure out how to get back up. And then I realized that all of that time I spent in seclusion with spirit, and all of the notes that I had in a book like this thick from that experience was like, whoa, these are things that I'm getting ready to need to be strong and to withhold what I'm going to have to withhold for my family and for myself and even for my child, that I had no idea I was going to have to be in. So I guess my whole point of telling this story and even relating back to the water violet flower Bach or Bach flower essence is that seclusion is needed. Seclusion is needed. That time to get away from everything that's happening in society and that's going on with us is needed. But it's the getting back to being able to tap back into community and knowing how to balance that's important, because in those moments of seclusion and being by ourselves is when spirit's able to work the most. And we're constantly surrounded by distractions and family and nonsense and drama and health and whatever else is going on, and all of this stuff coming from the media, which is also why I don't watch the news. So if y'all are watching the news and y'all are feeling high senses of anxiety, turn that shit off for a week, like real talk. But for me, it's like I disconnect and I don't watch the news because I want to control what's being shown to my vision and what's being, put into my psyche on a consistent basis. And during that time, I got a chance to connect and to basically reboot. And I'm just grateful for that moment, because so much, including this line, including my need and my want to connect with my community, including the house that I'm living in, all of it came and started from that place where I was in seclusion, and everything that was given to me as a revelation and divine understanding to be able to move forward with on my path. Now, to Marsha really quick, I realized a mild vaginal itch stopped after I yoni steamed. After, I'm guessing that means after I yoni steamed. My period ended Friday. Sis, what do you know what herbs? Was it one of the samples that I sent you that you used, or was it like one of your other yoni steams? First of all, I'm happy that it stopped, but I'm just curious to know, because I'm just looking for feedback. If it was one of my yoni steams that you used, I'm just curious. So while I'm waiting for her to type, if she's still here, I'm going to go back to reading what this thing was saying about water violets. So the last thing it was saying was, although water violet persons can carry out a life in perfect solitude, enjoying the gifts that they've been given, a problem difficult to resolve still remains. We come into this world to manifest certain potentials. I'm sorry, I'm getting notification for the business. We come into this world to manifest certain potentials, and developing them requires contact with others. The person might be the most capable and self-sufficient person in the world, but it is within community and interaction with others that these capabilities take on meaning. Things don't really depend on him as much as he thinks. He arrived at a place where things were already constructed. The food he eats, the clothes he wears, the teachers who taught him, the books he read, the long line of humans who gave their bones up to experience the various ways of living on earth. We got all of this and more without ever having to bat an eyelash. It is in the lungs realm, that of metal, the element to which it belongs, where the issue of purity is at play. Both the organ and the large intestine carry out the function of purifying the organism. Remember the plant's need for a clean space, clear of contamination. As Jordi Canellis points out regarding its signature, the plant needs a habitat of extremely clean and quiet waters. The botanical family to which it belongs is rich in saponins, substances that are antiseptic and antibiotic. I don't know if Marsha is still here. I'm hoping she is, because I wanted to get to her, but I know that she was on lunch. So, but reading this, I think about purification. The card that we got, Founder of Lost Things, the Raven energy that Spirit is going to, and the Most High, whatever you believe in, is going to remove what no longer serves us. And that crow energy, is going to come and pick away at whatever is dead, whatever has passed on, whatever is no longer needed, and take it away. Crows come and eat things that are dead. They come and remove what's no longer needed, so that only what's needed is left there. You get what I'm saying? That crow energy. And when I'm thinking about the liver does exactly that in our body. It's really deep how all of this is tying together with what I was reading earlier. So she said she used my sample, the fibroid one. Okay. So that's a good thing. I'm just taking it in and like listen to my intuition. That's why I'm like just staring at the screen and just looking. How long were you dealing with the itch prior to yoni steaming, if you don't mind sharing? The fibroid sample does have a yeast herb in it, Paul Diarco. For those of you who have watched my perioding yeast infection lives, I mean, lives, we tend to cover every damn thing. But for those of you who have watched it, you may know that I have talked about Paul Diarco, the herb, being used in healing. And that is one of the herbs, a small bit of it is what is in one of the fibroid blends. Have you drank the fibroid tea yet, Marcia? Or the yeast tea? Or did I send you a yeast tea? I can't remember if I sent you a yeast tea or not, sis, honestly. I know that I sent you fibroid fertility, but I can't remember if I sent you a yeast tea or not. But anyway, while I'm still waiting for her to respond. So when I'm thinking about this raven energy, so some people know it as the crow, and the ability of the crow to come and remove what is dead, what's no longer serving us, what's stagnated, what is not needed from our lives. I'm thinking about death and, I mean, essentially the loss of my father, but the fact that we got the card loss and that energy of loss, like losing something. And then even finder of lost things, going back and picking up things that we've lost that are things that we've lost after the hurricane came and swept out, or the crow came and picked up what was no longer needed, coming back and figuring out how to pick up the pieces, how to pick up the things that we thought we lost, that we never really lost, but that was just laying dormant there. The liver is the organ in the body, and I'm reading this, water violet Bach flower essence, but the liver is the organ in the body, and the intestines are two major organs that deal with taking away what's no longer needed in the body. The liver purifies and detoxes the body, specifically the blood. It deals with getting toxins out of the blood, and then the intestines move it out, of course, and evacuates it out of our system. And it's all of this energy today, and everything that I've been feeling is dealing with getting rid of whatever so that we can pick up whatever we're supposed to have in our lives. And then I'm going to read this one. And I don't know if the sister was here or whoever was here, half a day. She said, yes, half a day. I asked about which steam or tea. I had dryness since I was wearing pads using tampons. I got you. I'm going to flip through this book. So this book is called Balance Your Hormones, Balance Your Life, Achieving Optimal Health and Wellness Through Ayurveda, Chinese Medicine, and Western Science. A groundbreaking approach to achieving hormonal balance and healing for women. The back says, no, I didn't drink the tea yet. Okay. I was just curious to see if the two of them had, if you had both of them. Tired, overworked, or stressed, the link between balanced hormones, stress, and overall health is often overlooked, primarily because of conflicting and confusing information. Now internationally renowned doctor of Oriental medicine, Claudia Welch, breaks through the jargon and demystifies the secrets behind hormonal health by combining Western medical analysis with Eastern wisdom. By uniting the principles of Ayurveda, Chinese medicine, and Western science, Dr. Welch provides a unique, all-encompassing guide to achieving optimal health. Inside Balance Your Hormones, Balance Your Life, you'll find the information you need to restore your body's natural harmony, including tips to help you heal your most pressing concerns, from menstrual pain to infertility, menopause, and breast and heart health, the best foods to eat for optimal health and wellness, what to do when you're just feeling crummy, practical, easy to adapt stress management techniques, and how stress sabotages hormonal balance. So I'm going to flip through. I was explaining to the community that I basically, when I'm like looking for guidance or just searching for answers for something, I take a book and I'll flip through it 3 times, starting with my right hand. So I'll flip through all pages on the right, flip through all pages on the left, flip through all pages on the right, hold it in my palms, visualize what the answer is, and I'm looking for clarity. And I was just expressing that lately my energy has been very much like I just needed to untap, to kind of shed, and I've even been protecting my energy from outside people, situations, whatever can come to kind of thwart it and knock me off of my square. And so I just been feeling the need to do that. And I feel like something is in preparation for something being stripped away so that something else new can grow. But I'm just going to open the book up to a random location and see what comes out and then see what I'm given. So let's do this. So I opened up to a brand new chapter using the 3 pillars of health to restore hormonal balance. So let's see. Disease care versus disease prevention, the importance of diet and lifestyle. The doctor of the future will give no medication, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. That's by a quote by Thomas Edison. I'm sitting here flipping through because it's going through different foods. Like it says, awareness about what you eat, 3 steps to get started, quality and quantity of food. And the quote that goes with quality is, let thy food be thy medicine and thy medicine be thy food. Using opposites as medicine, let nothing which can be treated by diet be treated by other means. And while I'm flipping through this, I didn't even get a chance to read, but like I'm receiving a whole bunch of stuff in relation to, I shared on one of my other previous lives, I talked about the Ayurvedic thought process that garlic and onion are 2 antibiotics that the body needs like for healing. But a lot of times, because we put it in everything we eat and use it as seasonings, the herb's ability to heal us of disease, dealing with onions and garlic, is removed. Our body kind of gets immune to it. You know how you take, like say that you take 200 or 300 milligrams of Tylenol on a consistent basis over and over and over and over and over again for a long period of time. Eventually your body gets used to it and you're just like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to need a higher dose, probably 2-3 times this, in order to feel that it's really helping me with my pain. And that's essentially like what I'm being reminded of as I'm flipping through this. Like I didn't even get a chance to read, and I don't really feel led to, but the fact that I opened up to the place where it's talking about balancing the hormones and then essentially balancing your life, I'm of course reminded of my thyroid disease, but also that fibroids, dealing with like the ovaries. First of all, the ovaries, the thyroid, the hypothalamus, the pineal gland, all of these things are different glands. All of these things are essentially organs in a body that deal with our endocrine system, or part, I should say, glands in the body that deal with our endocrine system. They aren't actually, the ovaries are not actually part of your reproductive system. So when people think about reproductive medicine, they automatically think about, oh yeah, you know, my ovaries. But no, your thyroid, your ovaries, your hypothalamus, your pineal gland, all of these things are glands in the body that deal with your endocrine system, and your endocrine system regulates your hormones. So when we're having issues with fertility, having issues with our wombs, having issues with fibroids and growths that's growing and things like that, things being off balance, we're essentially having an issue with our hormonal system, which 9 times out of 10, a woman who suffers with any kind of issues with the ovaries, like infertility, endometriosis, PCOS, fibroids, or, you know, cysts and all of that kind of stuff, you're ultimately dealing with a hormonal imbalance. And that hormonal imbalance allows progesterone and testosterone to overflow the system at too high of a rate, and your body can't process it all, and therefore you end up having issues with the thyroid, or with your fibroids, or with your ovaries, or with your pineal gland, and not being able to sleep, like all different kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm just reminded of that. Like, I know that a lot of people think, peace and blessings for anybody that's coming in. This is just a general talk, but I can see the numbers fluctuate, and so I want to say peace if you weren't already here. But I'm just reminded of that, and even it's just this really strong energy of like miscarriage, and I don't know what that's about, but I just feel like, and I know I just switched from one thing to another, but it's like I just keep on seeing the sight of miscarriage, and it's like really disturbing to me right now, to be quite honest with you. And maybe that's why the card of Finder of Lost Things and the Crow energy and loss and all of those things came out. I just keep feeling like miscarriage, like somebody in my community and my surroundings and my, I don't know, is dealing with miscarriage right now. And I mean, I don't know, hopefully, you know, if you are dealing with that, sis, whoever you may be, like, hopefully you reach out. I'm here for you, you know, as a woman who's dealt with it myself, and it being something that was very difficult. I don't know. This is very heavy. Sorry, I have a very heavy feeling of miscarriage, like all of a sudden. Like very grief-stricken miscarriage, like having a really hard time with, sorry, I'm getting my sage. Having a really hard time with trying to be present and even move on with life, and depression and things like that. Like this whole energy surrounding loss. And I'm just feeling a sense of heartbreak for that person. It's really weird because it's like, I don't know, like I don't know. What I do know is I'm getting ready to burn some damn sage. I know that much. I might not know nothing else, but I know I'm gonna burn this sage. Ooh, child. If any of you ladies who may watch this later on has someone that they're close to who is suffering with miscarriage or any of those things, give them my information. Tell them to reach out to me. I don't think that we give enough energy and space to, yeah, CMOS is good. I think you're talking about dealing with balancing the hormones. But I don't think we give enough energy and space for, and hold enough space for women who lose their children via miscarriage. It's a really traumatic as experience. You you're left filling a void that you don't really know how to refill. I don't know. Man, it's like I almost feel a need to cry for whoever the hell it is. Wow. Ooh, to burn my tip. Shoot, I'm gonna get some to the screen. No, can't burn down nothing there. About to burn some ish up. Oh God. Woo. Let me see something. Ooh. Peace. Hi, baby. So I have black seed in there. I have ashwagandha. Got lemon, got ginger, got garlic. Pine needle tea? No. Hibiscus tea? Yes.
That's fine. I need one of the teas.
Huh?
I said that's fine. I need one of the teas.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I got hibiscus and I got ashwagandha.
Okay.
If you can give me a second, I'm on live. I will get it for you. But it's I mean, you might not want to wait for me. It's in the kitchen. If you don't want to wait for me. In that red bin. So my fibroid blend can stop irritation. Yes, depending on what the irritation is coming from. Will it deal with yeast infection and BV like the yeast and BV blend at the same magnitude? No, it's not going to do it at the same intensity. But can it help to heal? Yeast and BV, like if you got a mild case of something going on from irritation, yes. Yes, Marcia can. I ain't surprised by that. Yeah, I don't know. Something's going on. Word. Thank God for Yoni steaming. You ain't never lied, sis. Seriously. sometimes we have irritation in our, feminine parts because we are using, pads and the steaming beats any Vagisil. Absolutely. It does. And my whole thing is like sometimes we have what I started saying is sometimes we have the irritation because we're literally like sticking something into us for however many days that our cycle lasts, or wearing a pad for a number of days to try to heal. I mean, to try to deal with our cycles. Yeah, pads and tampons cause the irritation. You ever tried the yogi balls or yogi pearls, something like that? Yes, I have. First of all, peace and blessings, Gabriela Gonzalez. Sorry to call out your government, but I'm going to shout you out. Um, because you're a new name and a new face in my life, and every time I see a new name and a new face, I am so I will show the message because it blocked Marsha's message at first. But every time I see a new face and a new name, I shout you out because I am truly grateful for each and every person that's in my community. And every time I get a chance to meet somebody new, I recognize your name and your face because I take a lot of pride in knowing who my folks are. So welcome. If you're part of the Red Tent Yoni Steaming community, welcome. If you're not part of it, still welcome. Just welcome, sis. I have tried Yoni pearls, which is what I believe you're talking about. And yes, you're going to hear mixed things on them because you're going to hear some people who talk about all of the stuff that comes out during their use of yoni pearls. And what I want to say to that is, first of all, let's go on whether I use them or not. I don't suggest to my community that they use yoni pearls. I suggest to my community that they use yoni steaming as a form of healing the womb. Now, the reason why I suggest that is because anything that we're inserting into the vagina, it can cause an imbalance in our pH balance that's in the body, and then also cause irritation of your vagina. Now, I know if you watch YouTube and watch anything about yoni pearls, you'll see those videos where you'll see a whole bunch of gook basically on those yoni balls. And a part of me feels very much like the reason why you're seeing all that gook is because you're taking a bleached piece of gauze, because that's what they got to do to make it that white when they're using it and sterilizing it. You're taking that and inserting that plus whatever herbs that you're not necessarily aware of what's inside of them, and inserting them into the vagina, and you're leaving it there for several days. Now, in my mind, I'm just like, when you put two and two together, it represents yeast infection all day long, because you don't know what chemicals are being released out of the gauze that's there. You don't know exactly what herbs are inside of the yoni steam. Inside of the yoni pearls that you're putting there, and you're inserting that into your vagina. But then you take and you use yoni steaming. It's a non-intrusive way to balance the energy and the pH balance and the physical issues that's going on in the womb, balance all of it. That's in the vagina. So my suggestion is people try yoni steaming, not yoni pearls. And it's because the sources aren't always what they say they are. And the same way that you don't eat out of everybody's kitchen, you don't put everybody's product up in your punani. You know what I'm saying? You don't trust everybody's product because, baby, we all need our box to be right. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody trying to have no messed up box around here. So, I don't know if you've watched any of my lives before or videos, and where I've just talked about, the whole process of me creating my yoni steams. and how I came about with them. But basically, I created them out of my own need for healing, and asking the Most High for, like, guidance and what herbs to use and things like that. And I had some dreams, and it was revealed some things, and basically it turned into my line. And there's 7 yoni steams that I have, which is why Marsha was saying, oh, so your fibroid blend helps with irritation too, because I talk a lot about my yeast and BV and my fertility ones and postpartum. Like, I got all different blends, but specifically the yeast and BV deals with irritation. So I don't know, like, at what point you dropped in, because I saw numbers were fluctuating. I don't know if you've been here or you just tuned it in, so I just want to make sure I cover all of those bases so you can be caught up, to the conversation. But I don't necessarily agree with yoni pearls. What I will say, though, as a side note, there has been times that I have taken organic gauze and created and when I say organic gauze, it's like from bamboo. It's not bleached. It's this and that. Like, it's natural. There's like no chemicals inside of it. I've taken that and have created yoni pearls for clients that were dealing with yeast infection really, really bad, or we're dealing with detoxification of the body and we're going within for a specific regimen. But that's in very, very rare cases, just like I suggest douching in very, very rare cases. And the douching is with a Paul Diarco herb. If it's a woman who's dealing with yeast infection, I suggest douching on very, very rare cases, like only when you're at the point where you're about to scratch your eyeballs out and all the skin in your vagina do I suggest that you douche with Paul Diarco. You make it into like a tea. Make sure that you don't have any of the twigs that's in there inside of it. And then instead of using like those perfume ones and vinegar and all this kind of stuff that's going up in there and drying, first of all, it's drying out your vagina. Second of all, it's creating an imbalance in your pH. And third of all, it's going to make that, because you have an influx in your pH, is going to make you have yeast infection. And that's what they don't tell you. When you go and you douche with those different things and everything like that, you're changing the pH balance in your vagina, thus creating more problems for yourself. Yoni or Yogi, LOL, that I don't like the thought of something up there, which is why I'm so about the pearls. But I'm definitely going to have to look into the steaming. Word says, look into the steaming. Saved my life. Has shrunk down my fibroids from a 4 centimeter mass to a mass that last time I went to the doctor was just under 3 centimeters. I can count on one hand how often in a year I get yeast infections or BV, wherein before, when I was dealing with PCOS and all of those other different ailments I had, I was getting them all the time, and I haven't had a yeast infection like that in I don't know how long. So it stopped yeast infections, dealing with, certain herbs. I've pretty much removed the PCOS that I was dealing with. I've healed that. You only see me works wonders. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if you're new or what, but I will put my website. It got a lot of yes, and you already know, girl. You already know that for my you only love herbals.com. This is my website. There's a lot of information about steams and herbs and stuff there. If you want to check it out, you're more than welcome. Room massage. You already know I'm a stickler for that. Did you find it, Queen? And you looked at inside that red tote when you get ready to walk into the red room. It's a red tote there with a whole bunch of herbs. It's a big bag of ashwagandha in there. The lemons are right here on this table, and the garlic is in the fridge. You see it? Yeah, that bag. Yeah, you got to turn the. Yeah, it's not going to light when you do this, but when you put it underneath and you click it, it should. Oh, okay. I'll be right back, y'all. Give me 1 minute. Yeah, I'm live. Yeah, that's what I was saying, but it's okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm glad y'all stayed, but y'all was gonna leave. All right. I'm not diagnosed with PCOS, but it runs my family, and I've always had problems getting my cycle. Somehow I just don't get it without birth control, and I'm so done with birth control. But first time watching, I'll look into the website for sure. Well, I'm happy to have you here since it's the first time watching. So let's talk about the PCOS. Sometimes PCOS is not easily diagnosed depending on who your gynecologist is. And who child. When I was in the throes of PCOS real bad, I was dealing with birth control, them telling me I needed birth control in order to regulate it. And the birth control was a pain in the behind because it always made the yeast infections come, and then the yeast infections would come. I would want to scratch my eyeballs and my vagina skin off, and then they would turn into some other more traumatic issues. And now I'm trying to heal up the scratches and the freaking yeast infection. I mean, it was a mess. You know what I'm saying? So, what I want to say though is, if you're dealing with, first of all, it's going to take, so like say that you decide you want to stop taking the birth control, right? It's going to take a moment of your body getting used to, peace and blessings, whoever's coming in and out. It's going to take a moment of your body getting used to not having the birth control in your system and the birth control working its way out before the real effects of the herbs and taking the herbs on a consistent basis is going to change the pattern of your cycle. Second of all, I want to say yoni semen is not a get healed quick scheme. Yoni semen is something that takes time, and over the course of weeks and sometimes months, you will start to see a change in your vaginal pH and the overall health. Yeah, I read when you said that it runs in your family. And it is sometimes something that takes a minute, you know what I mean, to get in your system with the yoni semen and start to work. So if PCOS runs in your family, even though you have not been diagnosed with it, it might not be far off from your hereditary path, obviously. And so therefore, what I'm saying is take precautions and treat it as if it's PCOS, even if it's quote unquote not. The fact that you don't have a cycle often, or what they sometimes call amenorrhea, means that you are having an imbalance in the hormones that's in your body in the first place. So my suggestion to the women that I work with, I have a fibroid and cyst shrinking regimen. The fibroid and cyst shrinking regimen says fibroids and cyst shrinking, but it's really for any masses or things that may be going on with the ovaries and the reproductive system to pretty much kind of minimize them. PCOS is a horrible ass disease, but PCOS is basically, of course, you not getting your cycle on a why can't I talk? You're not getting your cycle every single month, or it can be that you're not getting your cycle every single month. And when I was dealing with my PCOS, there was times that I got my period for 3 months straight, and then I didn't get a period for 2 months, and then I got my period for 1 month, and then it would skip 2 months, and then it would go back to me having it for 3 months, and then it would skip again. It was all over the place. And what I used was the herbs that's in my fibroid and cyst shrinking regimen to deal with my PCOS. And I said in one of my previous videos where I talk about my TMI experience, and I talk about what my experience was after I yoni steamed for 9 months, how I passed these clots that were fetus size, like the size, I ain't lying to y'all. It was like the length of a freaking air freshener, like wick air freshener, like the thing was huge. If you go watch the video, I share photos with y'all because I'm real with my community. I know you new here, as far as like watching the video with me, but I'm real with my community. I'll be keeping it straight up 100, and I'll tell y'all like, yo, this is what happened to me, or this is what I use, and y'all can ask me any and everything you want. You may notice a change and influx in your bleeding. Your bleeding may increase before it decreases. I often tell people who are yoni steaming for the first time, sometimes it can get quote unquote worse, then it gets better before it gets better. And the reason why that happens, and this is not to scare you, but this is just to be completely honest and to put everything out there. The reason why it happens is because yoni steaming is loosening literally up the lining of the uterus that's being left there after cycles. So when you deal with a cycle after cycle after cycle, if you are a woman who's not putting high compresses on your womb every single menstrual cycle, then that means that 9 times out of 10 you're being left with a little bit of blood and sometimes uterine lining from your last period left up in your uterus. Not all of it is being pushed out, specifically if your cycle does not come unless you're taking birth control, because that's really what they call shed bleeding, meaning they have to allow you to stop taking the hormone for a certain amount of time just for you to kind of like shed your lining, but it's not a real period. It's a fake hormone induced period. So what we got to do, and if you willing to, walk on this journey of womb healing with me, to help you, is we have to get your cycle to the point where it comes on consistently all of the time. And, we regulate your cycle, and remove whatever is the issue that's there. I will put my email down. Email me, sis, if you want to. Whatever you might want to share that you might not want to say here, feel free to email me. My community will tell you I'm really open. Like, you can ask me whatever. Email. I can't tell you how many times I get emails 3-4 o'clock in the morning of all kind of stuff, And I mean, this is a womb healing and journey, self-care journey, and I'm here for it, and I'm here for y'all. So if you want to reach out, you can. But I'm willing to, if you want to, even if you don't buy my yoni steam, it ain't about you buying my yoni steam, and that's another thing. Of course, sales help, but I could care less about you specifically buying my yoni. What my thing is that I want the women that are in my community to find real help with dealing with your womb issues and anything that you may be experiencing. So I'm here for you. I want to say that, but PCOS isn't easy, and I feel you. Um, I don't know how old you are, so I don't know if you're looking into fertility and things like that, but that's another thing that you'll deal with on the PCOS journey. If it is that, like I know that you weren't diagnosed with that, but I'm just saying since it runs in your family that it may be about maybe a possibility that you do have and they just didn't diagnose it, as PCOS. They diagnose it as whatever the hell else. Also, hey, how are you? Oh yeah, for those ladies who don't know, tomorrow we have Tuesday Rise and Grind. So come in and join us if you can from 11 to 1 tomorrow, and that's a virtual office hour time. So Gabriella or Kelsey, y'all may like do whatever research y'all want during this time and learn whatever y'all want overnight, and then come back tomorrow and ask whatever questions. But I answer and talk about everything yoni steaming, womb healing, any of that stuff, good stuff tomorrow, 11 to 10. I mean 11 to 10. 11 to 1 Eastern Standard Time here. 11 to 1:11 really, but I say 11 to 1. To help y'all with y'all womb healing journey. We talk about everything, business, everything, whatever you want. What was I saying? I was saying something though. Darn it. Child, I'm getting old. I was literally saying something about, I remember I was talking about the womb healing journey dealing with PCOS and the herbs and all of this, but I done lost my train of thought. When I saw Kelsey, I got excited. I told you, like, I'm like, oh my God, man. Like, I remember my community. So when people like reach out, I remember them. And I'm glad that y'all messaged, when y'all did stop in. Darn, what was it that I was getting ready to say? Oh, okay. So, Gabriella, if you decide to stop your birth control, I'm being led to tell you, so you can take parsley, the herb parsley, preferably fresh and not dry. But if all you can find is dried in this climate of COVID and whatever the hell else they got going on around the world, then use just fresh. Just use dry. But if you can find fresh, it's better. Take the fresh. Oh no, baby. We about to deal with this, sister. Oh no. I've been off birth control for 2 years and I only got my period once after that. Oh hell no. Sorry. I'm taking it very to heart the fact that you haven't gotten your cycle, obviously. I'm glad that you can feel my sincerity. Okay, so what I want to tell you is parsley. Take parsley leaf and put it into water. So like, you know how you can get parsley in a bushel at, like, you can even get it at Walmart fresh, if you got Walmart near you. But like, take parsley in a bushel and kind of like put it on a plate and bang the leaves like with a fork or a knife and kind of like get them to start to let out that like green juice that plants let out like when the leaves get busted up. And so like beat the parsley, and I would take two bunches of parsley, okay, and put it into a large pot. When I say large, like a pot that you would make big ass thing of soup in. Anyway, take the parsley, the bunch of it, roots, stalks too, beat them real good, not to a pulp, but like beat them up pretty good so that the juices are coming out. Put all of that down into a pot of water. Now you want to boil like 12 cups of water. Boil like 12 cups of water, maybe a little more than that. I'll say 12 because you don't want to waste it. So 12 cups of water, 2 bushels of parsley. Drop it down into the water and boil it for 15-20 minutes, and then cover the pot of parsley / water mixture and let it steep for like another half an hour. That's going to make a parsley tea. If you drink parsley tea throughout the day, it will make your cycle come down. If you drink it a lot, it will make your period come on. Fresh parsley is always better than dry, but like I said, if you can only find dry, then work with that. But if you drink parsley leaf a lot, it will make your cycle come down. If that does not work, reach back out to me. But most of the time that works. And then also, that's what I was talking about. The fact that when your yoni steaming is going in and is loosening up the lining of what may be left. So I can only imagine that over the course of however long that you haven't gotten your cycle, and I'm not talking just to Gabriella, I'm talking to whoever may be watching this, however long you may have not been getting your cycle as a sister, and then that lining being left in there all of that time, that whole process of it getting worse before it gets better is oftentimes all of the old stuff being shed out of the uterus before you can move to a place where you have like fresh red blood periods. Now, don't be surprised, Gabriella, if the parsley works for you, if it starts to, like, when you do get your cycle back, that if it's like really, really brown or dark, like dried blood, is kind of normal because it's been so long that you haven't gotten it. I mean, hopefully, I'm hoping it's more like a red, but if it isn't and it is darker in color, then like, I don't want you to be alarmed. A lot of times that happens when you go back to taking, when you go back to getting a cycle after not getting it for a long time. But what yoni semen does do is it eventually gets you to the place where you're not dealing with the old residue that's left in the womb after our menstrual cycles, after childbirth, after miscarriage, and all of these different things. It's removing all of that so that, you know, everything can come out, and then you're left with like a red blood period, like from day one. And when I say red, I mean like red. You know what I mean? I don't mean like burgundy that turns red, you know? So, anybody got questions for me? I was just on here flapping my mouth at first, but y'all know I'm always down for a good yoni steaming conversation. Always. You got any questions though in the meantime, Gabriella? For me, Kelsey, Marsha. I picked up 3 more cards. In the meantime, while I'm waiting to see if any of y'all have questions. The first card was Storm. I was on here saying, in case you're just tuning in, that I was feeling this real strong energy of somebody in my community dealing with miscarriage. And somebody in my community dealing with miscarriage and dealing with the loss of a child. And I was just like saying my heart goes out to them, and, you know, I'm here for them. And if you guys know of a person who has recently gone through it, you know, that you can send them my way. I have support services as a doula. I have support services dealing with miscarriage, you know, birth and death doula services. But the energy of strength came out, and it's like a tree that's on the edge of the ocean and some grass and twigs and stuff, and you can clearly see that it's a storm, but the tree is still standing. And I was just talking a lot about, I know Kelsey's just dropping in. I was just talking a lot about like, yo, I've been feeling really separated and removed from what I'm so used to tapping into. I'm dealing with my community. Like, y'all know that I come live, or as of lately, I've been coming live quite often. And this one is healing. I begin to think of the fresh air and the sunshine. Healing after like loss and having strength, and then storm card and energy. I don't know. I was just led, and I see like the diamond in the sky. Even though it's a storm, there's still a diamond shining. I think that's hilarious, but also good to remember. Like, yo, you might be going through storms in your life, but yo, ultimately we good. I know that they do, Marsha. First of all, I see that Gabriella said, I'm actually 25, but this has been an ongoing issue since I was 12. Okay. It's so ironic because I got my menstrual cycle at 9 and my PCOS started at 12. Not saying, I know that you said you weren't diagnosed with it, but it runs in your family, so it's still a possibility. And so let's do this parsley, do the parsley tea. Email me, tell me how it's going. Email me and tell me how it's going, if it's working for you or not. Why is my chapstick not coming out? I'm like, what the heck? And Marsha, they do. A lot of people do have shame around miscarriage, but ultimately, I feel like, I mean, it's such a hard and sensitive subject, you know? When you lose your baby, it's such a hard and sensitive subject, and it's really hard to deal with it. But there's so many women who go through it. So essentially, I feel like there needs to be so much more support for women that are in my community specifically. Like, I can't speak about any other YouTuber or anybody else that's in women's womb health or naturopathy or any of those, you know, women's health in general. I'm just like, we got to have support though. We got to have support. And I have a real need to connect with everybody and to make them know that they're not alone. It is very discouraging, and it can lower your self-esteem. But I also want to encourage, though, where that self-esteem is lowered, I also want to say that I think that we internalize. So like when something is removed from us, like our child, we internalize that to mean that there's something wrong with us, that we're not able to carry this baby full term, or, you know, whatever is going through our minds, you know, and the fact that we're dealing with miscarriage a lot of times in silence, like you said, and feeling like we can't talk about it. There's a shame that goes around the fact that other people are walking around with children and I lost mine. So what does that mean? I'm not, you know, my body's not able to. No, your body is able to. What that might mean, though, is that we got to remove and work on some of the trauma and past issues that may be there, that's energetically not allowing us to hold on to that baby, you know. And like we were talking about the last live on Tuesday, getting used to positive mind chatter, you know, not allowing ourselves to fall into that trap of, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, my body isn't capable of. Oh no, our body is very much capable of. And there's no need for you to get discouraged and low self-esteem or any of those things, because it's like, yo, you are fully able to manifest whatever you want. Y'all didn't watch my other videos where I talked about womb manifestation and things like that? Go watch them. Not the last live on Tuesday, but the live before that, we got real deep into manifestation. I think it was a Sunday night. It was the last Sunday night. So as y'all know, if you watch any of my lives, I'm real big on Louise Hay, or at least on the energy that she has surrounded certain things. And so this book, Heal Your Body, is a book that ties the physical element to the energetic or emotional dis-ease that's in the body that ultimately is causing that problem, and then gives you an affirmation to deal with it. And I'm very moved to read about miscarriage. So let's see. Miscarriage is or abortion, spontaneous abortion. Fear of the future, not now, later, inappropriate timing. And the affirmation is divine right action is always taking place in my life. I love and approve of myself. All is well. Divine right action is always taking place in my life. I love and approve of myself. All is well. Do you guys have any elements that y'all want me to look up while I'm here on this in this book? I'm really feeling that energy and miscarriage a lot. Golly. I would not be surprised if I get an email from one of my folks tonight or tomorrow that's like, I miscarried. Oof, child. In my 20s, I experienced both, but I wasn't ready to be a mom. I get it. I truly get it. I truly, truly get it. I think a lot of times too we have these thought processes of now I'm ready, maybe the universe will delay pregnancy. What I was getting ready to say is I think a lot of times we have these thought process of like, oh, not right now, this isn't good timing, when everything is operating fully in divine timing. Everything is divine. Even if it seems like it's the wrong time, it's still divinely the wrong time. So essentially, and I mean, we can't go back and change this now. I get it, sis. I get it. And I mean, 20 is still 20 is in your 20s. It's a time where you're still learning yourself. I was just talking about before you guys came on, Gabriella and Kelsey and anybody else that may be here. I was just talking about earlier how I was having my daughter at 20, and after going through a nasty ass custody battle and raising her by myself for so many years, her father decided to come into her life at like out of nowhere, like, and be consistent there, and then take me to court for custody after I had raised her myself for almost 12 years. And it was just like, yo, where did you even come from? First of all, second of all, how are you trying to take me to custody court when I was the one who was here and taking care of her all this time? It was just like the most craziest thing. But I was just saying how when I went through that, it was the first time that I had an opportunity to really learn myself as a woman. And I think when we're faced with birth and pregnancy and miscarriage, even at such a young and tender age, it's really essentially a time where our body and our minds and everything that we're trying to be conscious of in our 20s, we're still learning ourselves, and we're being faced with who I am right now, who I want to be, and where I'm coming from at 20. And from 20 to 28, I'm going to say you're in that mindset of like, okay, I'm trying to do me and I'm trying to advance myself, because once you reach 30, you start to feel like, oh damn, I'm 30, like, time getting ready to start running, let me get myself together. But as women, like, we already see ourselves at 30. A lot of people see themselves already married and this and that. Like, we have all of these thought processes of what's supposed to already be happening at that time, when it essentially like, who the hell are we racing against? Who the hell are we racing against? When we make up our minds at 25, we want to have such and such. At 28, we want to be married. At 30, we want to have kids. At 35, we want to. Who and what are we racing against? Like, I don't understand. Like, looking back on my 20-year-old self, I'm saying to myself, what was you racing against? Yourself? You're like, I don't even understand my own psychology and my own thought process. What the hell was I racing against? I don't know, but I know that with miscarriage, we got to be careful to, and it's hard, but try not to internalize the fact that this baby did not come into our lives at the time we wanted, that we don't take that as a I'm grateful for y'all. This has been a very rough week prior to coming onto this live, and I'm dealing with a lot and trying to shift the business and make sure things move forward and be present for my community, because y'all already know, if you've watched me on a consistent basis, then you already know that, like, I'm about my community. I can give a damn less about becoming Yoni Steam famous, YouTube famous. Everything for me is Yoni Steam, but I'm sorry, y'all. I can give a damn less about becoming YouTube famous. What I care about is really sincerely finding people who want to get womb healing. Like, this is just one modality that I'm choosing to connect with women who are looking for help. And when I read y'all's comments and I look at, like, what you're going through and how it really is a mirror of my own ish. Whether I'm personally going through it right now or whether I recently went through it or I went through it in the past and like I'm helping you get through it, we're all essentially helping each other. So I'm looking at yes, absolutely, Marsha. Society does put pressure, and that's exactly what I feel like we need to fight against. Because at 40, if I'm having a baby, damn it, I'm just as good and capable as being 20 and having a baby. If I'm 50 and having a baby and the Most High gives me a child at 50, damn it, I'm just as good and as capable. And there are doctors who are willing to walk with you through your 50-year-old childbearing years that you are able to have a baby. The fact that we even still have a cycle, a lot of women up until they 55 and 60. I know some women who don't get out of their cycle. Peace and blessings to whoever's coming in. I know some women who don't lose their cycle until they're into their 60s. The fact that I can still have children in my 60s mean that the Most High sees me as someone who is capable of carrying this child and going through it full term and still being able to birth a child and be healthy. Now, I know complications can come along the way, and history says that there are some complications that comes, but a lot of that is stuff that is being spoken into our minds. And so we have a fear that's associated with, oh my God, if I have a child later in my years, what does that mean? Am I going to be okay? Blah, blah, blah. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Your body is, and that's what I mean about positive mind chatter. My body is perfectly capable of carrying this child to full term, fully in its health. It's going to come out well. It's going to come out abundant. It's going to come out healthy. I'm going to be healthy. I'm okay. I am safe within myself. I am enough. There is nothing outside of me that is not able. There's nothing outside of me that is able to change or thwart my own image of myself. I am my best and greatest asset to myself. My body is fully capable of carrying my child full term. I will be like going in with positive affirmations. Like I could give y'all positive affirmations for 15 hours. But Gabriella, I get it. I get it. And I think that I would also have that same fear, sis. Or can relate to the same fear of, man, I don't get a period regularly. Am I going to be able to have children? And that's why I'm saying, as your sister that you are just meeting here today, count me as your sis from now on for the rest of your life. I'm with you, sis. Like if you want to do this womb healing journey, I'm with you. If you want to work on getting your cycle to come regularly, I'm with you. If you want to work on healing your periods and whatever else may be going on in your womb or whatever may come up in the future, I'm with you. I'm here. Kelsey said, preach, sis, I'm 24 and I get caught up in a race for sure. Word. We feel like racing against the clock is what we're supposed to do. Everything is in divine timing though. We got to be in the right space. Okay, so imagine a sister who gets pregnant at 25, 30, who has the child and who's a basket case because she was in the midst of whatever the hell turbulence was going on at that time. And then imagine a sister who at 45, because I see that you said Ghanis often say that after 45, it's not good to have a child. I get what they're saying, but damn it, the Most High is in control. The Most High is in control, and ultimately I can create my own reality. Ain't no statistics about to tell me that I can't have a child. That's just like they say plus size women shouldn't have babies or can't get pregnant. I can tell you on my Instagram feed, since I'm a doula, I'm constantly in circuits with plus size women who are birthing children. I'm constantly seeing plus size sisters give birth to babies and they're healthy. But statistics say that it should be whatever is going to happen. Like, no, statistics don't make up my reality. And I don't want y'all to be afraid of whatever, we may have in our minds may not work or whatever. Nah, we aren't held by any limits. We aren't. As long as you got a cycle, you can have a baby. I'm tired every day being asked when I'm getting pregnant. Girl, listen, whoever asking you when you want to get pregnant, I ain't trying to be funny, Marsha, but remove them from your space, from your immediate space. Remove them from your immediate space, because what they're doing is they're creating subconsciously a need and a feeling of, oh my God, I gotta rush towards this. What's happening in my life is not, I'm not aligned with what's going on. I gotta get to being pregnant. Like no. The first thing that you do when you're trying to conceive is remove all stressors. The second thing that you do, in addition to moving all stressors, is of course eat right, but deal with whatever your womb health is. We gotta go inward. Like, I'm a firm believer in freaking, I told y'all this earlier if you was watching it live, and if you weren't, I'm saying it now. I'm a firm believer in going on some damn hibernation. Go and hibernate, Marsha. Don't hibernate for me, child. Stay open to me, child. Stay open because I like you. But you know what I mean? Like, go into hibernation. Go into hibernation. Protect yourself from anyone who is asking you repeatedly, when are you going to get pregnant? Whenever the Most High aligns, that would be my answer every single time somebody opened up their mouth to ask me that dumbass question. I'm sorry. They gonna make me go in. Let me burn some sage so I can bring my damn energy down because I'm mad, child. They messing with my collective and I ain't feeling it. I really took that to heart. No. Ooh, child. But all this talk about miscarriage and the constant feeling of miscarriage is making me feel very much like I don't know what. And I know my sister is gonna be like, oh damn, here we go again. She's probably sitting here watching me right now talk about this, and she just not commenting because technically she ain't on the clock when it's live. But it's making me feel like I need to do something dealing with miscarriage in my community. I don't know. And I'm going to say this, every time we get pregnant, every time we birth a baby and even don't birth a baby, there is an aspect of ourselves that's being born in that process. So if you're a woman who has miscarried, even though you've miscarried and you didn't carry your child full term, you're still entering into a new phase of womanhood, of learning yourself, of figuring out who this new you is. Every time you give birth to a baby, you birth a new you. And every time you are, even if you're dealing with miscarriage, you're still birthing a new you. It's a form of transformation. It's a form of transformation. Marsha, you already know, child. I'm here with you, sis. I'm here with you. Whoever asking you no whack ass questions, tell them to call Hadida. Tell them to call me, child. I'm gonna tell them about themselves. Don't allow yourself to be don't allow yourself to be bullied by people's ideas of time frames and what you're supposed to be doing. These are the color vibration cards that I recently created. And the card of sensitivity came. What was the other one? Urgency came, that feeling of like this urgency to hurry up and have children, and oh my god, this race towards having children, and time frame. Oh, okay. I got you. I get it, Marsha. I still feel like it's inappropriate though. And compassion. And then reality is people ask us questions and they don't always understand our story and where the hell we just came from. They don't necessarily understand the psychological and emotional damage that they could be doing to us when they ask us a question like, so when you gonna have a baby? They don't know what your story is. They don't know. You don't know my story. Respect my space. Respect my bubble. Y'all ain't watched what daggone live was that? Because it wasn't like it was entitled protection, but I talked a lot about protection in that video. And even that live that I did, I think it was that Friday night. trying to think what live was that. I think it was that Friday night. Love. So somebody gets really, really, really vivid dreams. Somebody gets really, really, really vivid dreams. I'm being just told to say this. I'm going to say it. Somebody gets really, really vivid dreams, but they don't trust. They don't trust the positivity. It's like you doubt your own. It's like you doubt your own ability, your own intuition. You doubt your own intuition. You doubt your sixth sense, whatever you want to call it. You doubt it. And so you don't believe what you're seeing in your dreams. You don't believe what you're seeing and what you're praying for is actually going to come into fruition. And when you're dealing with that, you're like, oh, that's impossible for that to be happening. So I'm just going to like push that to the side. I don't, that's just a dream. That's in that state. That don't really count on this side. Like whatever the heck we tell ourselves. But you're wrong, though. You're wrong. Everything that you see in your dream state can physically become a reality. As above, so below. What's going on up there is in the ethers and in the dream state is also going on here on this earth plane in some way, shape, or form. And when we doubt our intuitive abilities, when we doubt our ability to be guided by dreams and whatever your idea of spirit or most high is, God, Allah, whatever, when you doubt that, you're also creating a blockage from what you want to be manifested. So we got to like be really, really, really conscious of whatever things we're thinking, whatever we're feeling, and check ourselves often, check ourselves often. Yeah. Peace and blessings, whoever's coming in. I drank last Sunday that my friend's uncle. So the funeral that you just went to on, what you tell me, it was Friday? Did you tell me a day earlier? I think you said it was a Friday. The dream that you just went to, you dreamed about the dream you just went to. Lord have mercy. The funeral you just went to, you just dreamed about it. So you dreamt about it before it happened? And you didn't believe it? Sure. So when y'all are having these dreams, so like Marsha, I know that you were on that night when I was talking about the manifestation. And I did that 3-hour live for Leo. This Leo, what was it? The Leo. Oh yeah, the 8/8 Leo new moon that we just went through. I told him we dreaming that Friday he died. Wait a minute. You told the person that transitioned about your dream and then they died? Or am I reading it wrong? SubhanAllah. I'm waiting for her response to come back in. That's heavy. What I was about to say is, Marsha, you was on that I think it was that Friday when I was talking about for that Leo new moon. It was a Sunday when I was talking about the Leo full moon and I'm in new moon and we were dealing with manifestation. I told her my dream about her uncle and he died that same week. I got you. Wow. And that's what you will call premonition. The ability to see what's coming in dream state. Yeah, I have that too. And it's not always a good feeling. Specifically when you see some what we would consider negative stuff coming. It's it's not a good feeling. But it's warning though. It's warning. And we gotta like learn how to manifest what we want and petition the most high universe, whatever you believe in, divine creator, source, whatever. We got to learn how to petition him and change the energy of what's to come. Not saying that you can stop death, but saying that you can definitely change the energy of what's surrounding that person and influence their lives in a positive way prior to transitioning. But what I was getting ready to say, and what I keep on getting distracted from saying, is I don't know what you were praying for that Leo new moon when we were praying about manifestation. I mean, when we were talking about manifestation. Oh, child, my words is all tied up. I don't know what you were praying, thinking about when we were talking about manifestation during the Leo new moon. But I want you to think heavily about that and how that relates to what happened with this person, that transition that you're that you know or that you were related to. She was happy that God used me to prepare her. Absolutely. And that's oftentimes what happens. Most High uses us as a buffer for people. Peace and blessings for whoever's coming in. Feel free to drop a comment or a hello in the chat box as you're coming in. Yeah. Anybody want to comment? Anybody have anything to say? Ooh, child. It's some real deep energy. Whole energy and miscarriage is deep in general, but then the energy of just death and loss and the fact that all those cards and energy cards came forward and synchronicity cards came forward earlier, and it's just all really deeply connected. Oh Lord. Yeah, if y'all can, make sure y'all come out tomorrow. Tuesday Rise and Grind from 11:11 to 1:11 in the afternoon. Me too, Marsha. Me too. If y'all are able to come tomorrow, we get talking about all kinds of stuff, like I said, in community. And we're able to share that space. And it's a sacred space that I've created because I was getting a lot of the same questions and a lot of the same things that my community was talking about during the lives. I mean, during my time after the lives, I was getting the same questions in my inbox. And I felt like it was time to introduce something that I call virtual office hours that allows you to come in and ask whatever questions you want to ask and do whatever you want to do, to contribute to the energy that's there at the collective. We do that on Tuesday. And I just think that it really helps when you can get on and you can watch the questions and the conversations of other sisters, even if you never, we got some men in our community too, but even if you never actually say anything, you're able to take in what they're saying and learn from the exchange, between people that are there in the community and then between me and you guys. And it pretty much goes wherever spirit takes it. It is a Tuesday Rise and Grind work session. So if you are like working from home or any of those kind of things, bring your work and I'll play music. Last week we had like dance hall and reggae and a whole bunch of other stuff. And then and so that was really fun. So tomorrow I'll be like, what music y'all want to hear? So we can jam and, connect with energy and spirit. You happen to be a Leo. So it's one of my very good friends, aka my assistant or my company. She's a Leo too. And I have a lot of Leos in my life. Lord have mercy. Leos and Aquariuses, y'all are all throughout my life. So I'm not surprised that you're a Leo because I seem to attract them a lot. My ex-husband, my very good sister, friend, whatever you want to call her, / assistant, my brother, another one of my really good close friends. I got a lot of Leos. And I love y'all energy. Y'all are full of life. What was I getting ready to say to you, Marsha? I'm sending you love and light, sis. I am. I'm sending you love and light. I can feel your energy is a little bit shifted in comparison to what it is. I am a Gemini, Kelsey. Can you tell? I'm a Gemini sun and I'm a Taurus moon and Venus. Were you? You was gonna say that I was a Gemini. I'm a Gemini. How could you tell? Because I'm always running my mouth. Tell me. How did you know? What gave it away? I am total air sign vibes. Yeah, I know. What are you, Kelsey? Okay, I get it. Perla Gray, hi, you're new. I don't know your name, so I'm getting excited. My name, first of all, welcome and greetings, and I'm so excited that you're here and commenting, and I'm appreciative, that you're here. My name Hadida is an Arabic word. It's so funny when I first took the attribute Hadida. When I first came into Islam, I was like told that my name meant iron and strength, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm strong. I'm strong like iron. Of course I am. Yeah, hard as this damn table. Yeah, that's me. Like, at that time I barely ever cried. I was very no problem, sis. I'm happy you could tune in. And I was telling my sister that earlier. I was like, I don't get a chance to connect with a lot of my folks because, ultimately, when I'm on here on live at 7, 8 o'clock at night, it's the middle of the morning for them because I got people in India who be messaging me, in Africa and Jamaica, all kind of places. So I miss a lot of y'all when I get on at night. I just think it's probably easier. It's just probably easier for me a lot of times. I was wondering if it had another meaning for you because we don't use that as a name. So when I did my studying and started dealing with my sheikh and started getting into like what the real translation of the word hadid is, it deals with sharp and precise. So the word iron was born out of hadid because, iron a lot of times is sharp and can pierce and cut straight through and like get straight to the point. You know what I mean? It's iron, it's sharp. But the word hadid, when I was, dealing with the meaning of my name, I thought it was originally iron and strength. But later on found out that my name meant precise and sharp sight, the ability to like basically see straight through, like and it comes from, dang, what surah is that where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was talking about, he referenced it as Hadidun. He said, this day your sight is revealed. Oh man, if I can, I'm going to try to remember it and bring it tomorrow for whoever may be watching that later on. But basically use the reference of Hadidun. And your sight is pierced, straight, sharp, able to see. And it fits me. So I thought I was getting there for the meaning of, oh yeah, I'm strong as a daggone bull in this mug, but no, that was not it. It was clearly for some internal purposes, and now I'm just as soft as a daggone teddy bear. Like before I had problems crying, and now like I'm just like, oh. I mean, I don't cry all the time because I still have very much the Taurus in me comes to the top, and so does the Gemini. But I don't have the same hard shell around my heart chakra that I did before from all of the stuff that's happened to me throughout life. And Kelsey said total air sign vibes. I'm still tripping off the fact that you said that. And then you're a Taurus. And I know you probably heard me when I said that my moon and my Venus is in Taurus. I am a Libra rising though. And Lord have mercy, do I struggle with balance. Man, I'm like always searching for balance. The Taurus in me loves beautiful, finer things. And I like to be by myself and hibernate. And I was talking about this earlier. I don't know if you heard me when I was talking about it, but like I like to hibernate and be by myself and go within and like seclude myself. And I'm very much okay with never coming out. And then the Gemini, Chatty Cathy, and me comes to the surface, and she's like, "Girl, you ain't been out. Like, sis, get up." Because I got two different sides of me. And so I'm like, she like comes and she slaps me and she's like, "Girl, get up. Like, you ain't been up and out in so long." And then the other side of me is like, "Baby, I'm just okay here laying with like my cup of water, my tea, my whatever, chilling, like leave me alone." And then the other side of me be like, "Girl, I'm not about to sit here and let you just be antisocial. If you don't get up and go talk," like I really be having internal arguments between the two twins up in here. You know what I'm saying? Like I really am. Oh Lord, it's mad funny. Anyway, I have yet to meet a Gemini in my community yet. So if Gemini's watches later, please, Gemini gang, come in here and say Gemini gang, because it's a lonely world as a Gemini. Lonely in that nobody truly understands us. Like Pisces sometimes try to say that they understand us because they have like the two fish swimming in opposite directions thing going on with them. But girl, like I be really having some problems over here because the twins be each on their own vibrations. They be doing their own thing. The Taurus and me, it's a whole nother third person over there laying down as a Taurus, chilled out on the couch, eating like the most luxurious food, watching all fabulous things around my house, like, and then the Libra in me is like, I need balance. She's like a fourth person sitting over on the side, seeking for balance in all of life's craziness and making me try to always gain order and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't want to be order. I want to be messy. I want to be Gemini. And the Taurus is like, you want to be Gemini? You want to be messy? Like, no, girl, get your stuff together. We can't have that. Like, it's a mess over here. So my mind is really all over the place all the time. And I'm constantly struggling with getting my life together and in order. But I'm so grateful for you, my community, regardless of the fact. I am really grateful for y'all. I am holding a rose quartz crystal that I got from an indigenous Mexican event that we had here in Philly. I freaking love this rose quartz. It has bomb energy. A couple was like, I don't want to sell it, but I'll sell it. I got that one, and I got this huge obsidian. Y'all see this? How big this thing is? This thing is huge, y'all, and it's heavy. It's very heavy, but I got both of them. But this rose quartz, I just feel like I need to send love to myself, of course, but then to the women in the collective in my community, because I can like feel a lot of energy is going on here, and just want to make sure I'm present for y'all and available. Do anybody else have questions about yoni steaming, or anything else dealing with womb health or any of that good stuff? Thank you, sis. I love it. And you know what the guy told me about the obsidian when I bought it from him? He gave me like a whole little dissertation about it, other than stuff that I already knew. He was saying that back in the day, people used to use shards of obsidian as knives when in war. And hey, how are you? My cat is responding. I said, "How are you?" My cat said, anyway, so the guy was telling me that he was studying and saw that they actually would use sometimes the black obsidian as knives in war, and then as freaking knives during surgery. He was like, there's like a piece of obsidian that sometimes hospitals have inside their electronic devices or whatever that makes like that you know how they're doing that mechanism now where they can like do laser surgery and things like that, that they some of them are using technology of obsidian crystals. I was just like, this is so decent and so dope, but it really sucks though. It does fly, like it straight up is 430. But it sucks to me that a lot of times people try to like overcast and shadow and like act like okay, I need full details, but hold on, I want to lose my train of thought. So while you're typing, because you know this thing got a mad delay, and you know it be all crazy and stuff in the system, girl, why you getting ready to start typing? Let me hurry and get my thought out, because I just sat here and tell you how the Taurus in me and the Gemini in me and the Libra in me all be talking at the same time, and I gotta hurry up and get it out. Okay, so so I'm just thinking it's really messed up that they don't really give they don't really shine enough light on the herbs and the crystals and things like that. Like secretly, they be using on the side, they be using everything, but then they go and they say, "Oh, that don't work. Why are y'all using it?" Like that don't work. You're using it in your freaking devices to cut people open, but you want to act like crystals have no kind of power or energy to be able to heal or help the community. You're using the same St. John's wort that I tell all of my postpartum women to use when you're dealing with postpartum depression. Make yourself a big glass of chamomile postpartum and peppermint tea. If you're dealing with postpartum stress and stuff like that, and anxiety and depression, to use that, you're using that in all of your anti-depression drugs. But instead of you saying, "Oh yeah, get some St. John's wort," you put it into some kind of chemical formed drug, and then you drug people, and then you make them become addicted to the drug, and you make them keep taking it when in actuality they could have just took the freaking St. John's wort in the first place and never had to become addicted. And it's just like, what are you doing? I just want to slap them. Okay, so spill the beans, if you want to, Malvina. I'm hype as hell, obviously, to know. Yes, like tell us. I'm like, tell us. You know, you cannot come aboard here and be like, "Oh my God, everything been manifested," and don't share. So what she's referring to is I was just telling y'all, I did the Leo new moon 8/8. If y'all ain't watched it yet, go watch it. There was an 8/8. There was an 8/8 new moon manifestation, yoni steaming, whole thing that I did for the Leo new moon, and it was a really powerful time. And we did some manifestation. I went over womb massage and all of that, and basically told the women how to deal with it. But then we did some manifestation work. We did some freaking meditation. We did all kind of stuff. So if you didn't see it, go check it out. So she said my period was so much better. I did the heat and massaging and speaking healing on my tummy a few more times after that. My God would have changed already. I kind of feel more nausea than usual. It's crazy how much is for profit instead of actually healing us for real. Absolutely, Kelsey. Absolutely. And I'm sick of it. Like something wants to move. My business seems like it wants to increase. Yes, honey. Yes. Oh, so that's a really good point. So y'all got to know that when y'all start this manifestation work and y'all start doing spiritual work and y'all start doing like anything that's dealing with moving forward, getting higher in whatever you're trying to do, ascension, all of that, you're going to, or you may deal with the need to vomit or to like have diarrhea or get a fever, because the body has to purge before it can take in new. You know, when your cup is already filled to the top, you can't pour nothing else in it, which means that you got to dump some stuff out the cup in order to be able to receive new. So sometimes, you know, everybody want to talk about the sweet, nice side of yoni steaming and the nice side of manifestation and a nice side of meditation. The reality is all of that stuff you can get energetically sick, and even sometimes physically sick, nauseated, and all that kind of stuff centered around it, because ultimately, peace and blessings to whoever's coming in, stopping by, whatever you're doing, and my dear collective. If you want to share, feel free. We're just having random conversation today. I just came on here to share with y'all and vibe with y'all and see what was going on. And people started dropping in, and now we just here. So, but it's just really deep how the body, you know, adjusts to taking in, you know, new energy and things shifting and being cleansed out in order for you to take new. So like something wants to move. My business seems like it wants to increase. And we shorty girl, I don't want to get into that too much, but y'all, also, my back and head has been pounding crazy. I feel that shift coming. Thanks, ladies. This thing is working, y'all. Did you ever get a chance, Malvina, did you ever get a chance to plant your seeds? Did you ever do the seed planting portion of your manifestation? I'm just curious. Did anybody do it from that night? And if so, did you start noticing things? So the other thing I want to say is, so like act like this is water from out of the spigot. Sorry, y'all, my shirt is twisted. The girls is all, you know. Anyway, so take some water into your hand. So like when you got a headache, when you're dealing with energy work, spiritual work, healing of any kind, take water into your hand. And I'm going to use this because it's a spray bottle from my cat, the trainer, but you know, get the point. So take water into your hand. And Muslims do something that's called wudu, but if you're not Muslim, you can still use water to cleanse and purify. But take it and rub like your forehead. If you are Muslim and you watch my channel, then do a wudu. But if you're not, take water, rub across your forehead, rub across your crown. Make sure you get the back of your neck, all of that good stuff. Touch water to your head, specifically to your crown. The other thing, Malvina, is if you're not already, okay. I'm just making sure I got you. You can use olive oil, but water has the energy of purification. So I'm not necessarily talking about olive oil for anointing. I'm talking about water to remove. Water removes energy from the surface and, you know, gets rid of it. It's purification, cleanses. So you can use water first and then olive oil after. But water is going to remove, you know, whatever's there energetically. It's going to remove that into the water. Yeah. And also, like, I know that people are in all different kind of, you know, paths and things like that, but I mean, I'm Muslim, so I cover my crown, but I don't just cover my crown just because I'm Muslim. I also cover my crown to protect my energy because I'm so freaking sensitive. So if you are getting into like, you know, any kind of stuff that you asking and praying for, and you're trying to protect your energy, or you're, you know, doing any of that womb healing journey and things like that, and you really want to like find ways to amp up what you're doing, sometimes you got to protect your crown. So if you aren't, like when you're doing whatever your things are at home, prayers, rituals, whatever the heck you want to call them, take and cover your head. It helps a lot. It helps a lot. So that's what I would really suggest to everyone. I don't know if people are already, but if you're noticing that you're getting headaches and that stuff like that, sometimes you might just need to cover your crown chakra. Honestly, it makes the world a difference. I wear braids and all I wear braids all the time and tie up all at night. I would do that more. Okay. I mean, I get about the braid, and I mean, I'm not even saying that you have to wear it outside. I'm just saying like when you are dealing with, and if you're going to sleep, and that's another thing. When you go to sleep, wear a white. Like if you can wear white, and you want to do it like when you're sleeping, covering your energy, protecting your energy, whatever you want to call it. You can wear white over your head. So if you're Muslim, then 9 times out of 10 you're going to sleep already with a wudu, and you're making sure that you're making your wudu before you go to bed. If you're not Muslim, that's fine. But when I say wudu, it's like a form of purification using water. And so you can we cleanse different parts of our body, and then we cover our head. We sleep with something over our heads when we cover. To protect energy from entities and things like that are always around. But even if you weren't, I mean, the same thing, the same principle still is there, regardless of what religion you in, the same principle is there. And I'm bringing up about Islam because I know that I have like a lot of Muslim subscribers who watch me. Yeah. I'm happy that you're seeing results, sis. I am. I'm happy. Anybody have any more questions for me? Anything that they want to say? I feel like I've been on here running my face with y'all forever. I mean, it is almost 3 hours. I'll be back here tomorrow from 11:11 to 1:11. For all my dear community, if you want, make sure you stop by and you check in. I'm going to pull one card real quick as a closeout energy. Do a couple of breaths of deep breathing. What? Covering your head when you go to sleep, Perla? Covering your head when you go to sleep? Yeah. Yeah. Making your wudu and covering your head before you go to sleep, just like depending on like what hadith you may read, you'll even see where it talks about women wearing shorts or some kind of form of something that blocks the vaginal opening when they're sleeping as well, from jinn, dealing with jinn and energy of jinn. Because while you're sleeping, jinn can come and do all kind of stuff, and that's a whole nother conversation for another day. If y'all don't know, jinn are like they're not necessarily all negative, but jinn are seen to be, I guess, in Christianity, what people would consider demons. I also do some manifestations and prayers, stretching before I sleep at night too, and it's been helpful for sleep. Oh, really? Yeah. Let me see if I can find. Let me see if I'm going to see if I can find the hadith where it talks about it, and I will make sure that I don't have your email. Did you email me that time? Did you ever email me, Perla? For some reason, it seems like I did. I don't know. Seems like I emailed you before. Back. This energy of war keeps coming out. It's really interesting to me. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, absolutely. Iato Kersey. Yeah. Iato Kersey. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Malvina, I know that you just got here, but earlier we were talking about I feel like somebody in my community is like dealing with miscarriage. And so if you know anybody who is or whatever, Marsha has said like we need to do something with miscarriages, and that's absolutely true. But if you know anybody, like, forward the information. As a doula, I've had to go through the deaf doula training. I didn't have to, but I went and got my certification as deaf doula as well. So any sisters who are suffering with, having a miscarriage and dealing with the whole idea of losing their baby um, after giving birth is, or before giving birth is really hard and something that I just want to make sure we're supporting each other in. Do you suggest womb massage every day? Oh, wow. That's really interesting, Lavina. Um, if you want to send her information, you can. You have my phone number because I actually gave you my phone number, I believe. So I gave you my phone number, my email. You can forward her my information. The Red Tent has like a bunch of stuff dealing with deaf doula work and things like that. I don't know where she's located, but virtually, I wanted to be sister friend to her. But I'm feeling like there's a lot of people dealing with miscarriage and suffering right now. Um, do you suggest womb massage every day? So I don't suggest necessarily doing womb massage every single day. No, I feel like there's a such thing as too much. I feel like um, twice a day max. I mean twice a week maximum is what I would suggest. Yeah. And I think in the next video we'll talk about castor oil packs. Not tomorrow's live, but the next live that I do randomly, I'll bring up to y'all about castor oil packs and how they help. She's in Florida, I think. She's such a beautiful soul and Taurus like me. Same day, actually, I will forward her your information. All right, cool. I cover my head all the time. I know that's right, Marsha. Protect your energy, sis. Um, You heard what I said about womb massage, though. I don't suggest it all the time. I suggest it at max twice a week. But I'm glad that whatever irritation you were having and things like that has been relieved um, with the products. So that's always exciting to hear. Of course, let me know what you feel, what you experience with your teas, um, whatever else you may be having questions about. I know that you'll reach out if you have them. Whew, I'm grateful for y'all. I love y'all. Today has been very interesting to say the least. But I will definitely be back here tomorrow from 11:11 to 1:11. If you know any sisters that need to hear about womb massage and anything else, make sure you send them the link to tomorrow's 11:11 to 1:11 Roz Grind and Jam, Yoni Steeman virtual office hours, Ask DD session. All of that in the title. Um, it was dope to see Kelsey. It was dope to see Perla. It was dope to meet Gabriella. I don't know who all is still in here and which one of my sisters are still here and present, but it was dope, and I'm grateful for all of you guys. As usual, I am 100% grateful for Marsha and Malvina who come and support all the time and tap in the collective energy. I'm grateful for all of y'all. I'm going to do a couple of deep breaths because shoot, I needed my daggone self. Oh, cool. I love this question. So womb massage is where is Chantel? Sure. I don't even know where Chantel is. Womb massage, give me 1 second. right, so everybody meet Chantel. If you don't know her, she's my assistant on my lives, and she's still wrapped up from the last time when I taught you guys how to bind your womb, especially when you're dealing with abandonment issues or mommy and daddy, weren't there for me type issues. Miscarriages. A lot of women don't announce their pregnancy. I know. Yeah, that's true. All right, so womb massage is basically the practice of taking the hands and massaging around your womb center in order to help to loosen up prior to and during your yoni steaming session, to help loosen, and even before your cycle, to help loosen up the energy that's there. So you want to, the way that you measure where your womb is. Yeah, it was in a previous one, but I will do a real quick demonstration real quick. So I'll go over, I will go over real quick how to find your womb, how to do the womb massage, and then how to wrap the womb really, really quick. Okay. All right. So you want to make it see with your fingers. You're going to put your thumb in your belly button. So this is Chantel's belly button. You want to put a C in with your fingers, put your thumb in your belly button, and when you curl down, this is approximately where your womb is, about 2. Okay, cool. Marsha, I see that you said you use castor oil, and I'll get to the other comments in a quick second. But you want it about 2 inches down is where your womb is. So this is where Chantel's womb is. So womb massage is making small circular motions with a cupped hand around the womb. Okay, and your womb, of course, is your uterus. And of course, vagina, some people will call it the womb, but when I say womb, I'm talking about your uterus. So you're making small circular motions down. If this is her womb, we're coming down about 1 inch underneath, and we're incorporating it in this massage. When we go in the inside of the circle, come here, we're incorporating the womb. We're making large circles up and above the belly button, down to about like where the pubic bone is, right above the vagina, but large circles. Okay. And so those are going circled around the womb. Then after you do that, you want to take your hand and you want to do like full swiping motions around your womb core, and you can go up to, now the important part of this, and I know I'm doing opposite on here, but the important part is that we're going clockwise. So on your left side is where the poop comes out with your ascending colon, and on the on your descending colon, and on the right side is where the colon goes up. So for your large intestines, your colon goes like this, over and down. And when it comes down, it connects to a small tube called the duodenum, and it connects to your anus. And that's how we have our poops, okay, our evacuations. So you want to make sure whenever you are womb massaging, that you are going in the direction of your colon. So you're going to go up, over, and around. So basically you're starting in small circles, then your circles get bigger, and then incorporate your whole, what would be considered your fupa. If you're a plus size woman like me and nice and voluptuous, you're going to get all of your fupa, and then you're going to come up and down. Okay, up, around, and down, up, around, and down. And so you're going to do this start in small circles, a little bit larger of a circle above the belly button, and then up and over and down. Now, don't be surprised. And let me say this as a precursor. A lot of times when you do womb massage, you will end up having to go to the bathroom if you did not already, evacuate your colon. So don't be surprised if you have to. And because of that, I suggest that women don't womb massage and then go right into yoni steaming, because you may have to go to the bathroom and then that will make you have to get up off the pot, go to the bathroom. I mean, I will wash, because if not, you're going to basically be having all that fecal matter being steamed at the same time as everything else in your yoni. And you don't want that. That's perfect place for BV, but you know, you want to end up having to wash and all of that again. So now, real quick, for this is a rebozo, and it's like an authentic Mexican cloth that the women use and wrap themselves with. And we never talked about baby wrapping, but I'm a real big baby wrapping advocate. Don't nobody have time to be walking around with a child in their hands 24/7. Put your child on your back, carry your baby, and go on about your rat killing, as my girlfriend from down south would say. And so baby wrapping, you're basically taking this around the back and you're tying it above the bus and underneath the bus, which I'll get into another time, and the baby is securely on your back. And you probably see a lot of women in Africa who do that. But for this, and who use it, a lot of, so you take this rebozo. I'll get into that in 2 seconds, Marsha. So I don't lose my train of thought where I'm at, but I see your comments. So you want to take your rebozo and you are going to bring it to the front. Now you're going to pull snugly so that you're giving your womb a nice, real stern wrap. Okay, you're going to use. It's kind of difficult because Chantel is a little wobbly here, but I'm pulling so that I'm about to give Chantel a sucking of 2 inches. Okay, and then I'm coming to the back, and then if it's not big enough to wrap around again and to tie off and have enough space, then you're going to do it where you tie off in the back and tie a knot. Okay. For those sisters who would prefer to start in the front, you can. If you start in the front, you're going to, and I kind of suggest women who are plus size, and obviously I can't see all of y'all, but if you're plus size, I probably would start in the front. So you want to start in the front, pull to the back, and pull tight. Okay. Lord, this is hard because this is hard. I'm like trying to make this thing stable at the same time. All right, so pull tight and wrap. Now you want to make sure that you're wrapping so that it's not bunched. Want to spread this out over the womb. Pull and tie in the back. A lot of times you can tie, and just like if you're familiar with head wrapping, then you just tuck both ends and it'll stay inside. And you can wear this around the house. And it's womb wrapping. That's what womb wrapping is. That's how you do it anyway. The reasons for it, purpose for it, if you are a woman who has just birthed a child, to get your womb to go back to the way it was, and your uterus to kind of like not become prolapsed. A lot of times you can womb wrap, and it helps the womb and the pelvis area to go back into position. The other thing that womb wrapping is used for, and I think that particular day we were talking about this, we were talking about women who suffer with abandonment, feeling like they're abandoned, going through issues with family, going through issues where they're feeling like, they're left alone, and they don't have support. Womb wrapping can help to, deal with some of that. And then I saw somebody else ask something about wrapping previously. Oh, it was Gabriella who asked about the womb massage. I covered that. Yeah, so I think that is something. I think I pretty much covered it. Do y'all have any questions about womb wrapping, womb massage? No problem for the demonstration. No problem for coming on today. I'm grateful I was able to be here and share my energy with you guys. Castor oil for womb massage. Thanks for coming on. What's wrapping? Are you talking about baby wrapping? Baby wrapping is when you take the child and you carry it on your back. So I don't know if you've seen the women like in Africa have the babies wrapped on their back and it tied off in the top and in the bottom. It's like I have done that with every child and godchild of mine. I carry them. Don't nobody had time to be holding them in their hands. So I mean in your hands. So I wrap my children and I go on about my cleaning of the house, my sewing, my whatever I'm doing, and they fall asleep and they stay asleep all day long. Specifically when they like when they real babies, infants up to toddler, they will sleep the whole time they on your back. And if you lay them down, they'll stay asleep, especially if you swaddle them when you lay them down. But those are all things we can cover in other lives. It's 5 o'clock. I've literally been on here with y'all for over 3 hours. I love you guys. I'm about to tune off. Before I do that, though, I am going to do some deep breathing real quick.